And we're live. Hello and welcome to the 51st episode of Coin Gang. And today we're going to be talking about PulseX. And we've got MarcoTheHexican and Wave 3 TV here. Welcome.
What's up? Hold on.
Hey, Karim.
How's it going, guys?
Bang.
Hey guys, what's up? How everyone doing? Hey, Karim made it just on time.
Yep. So I guess
Awesome. So we have a lot of people watching live, but I know we're going to have even more thousands of people watching on the replay. And so while there's so many awesome things we'll be able to talk about today in the live show, this could run for 3 hours. Normally we do, but what we wanted to talk about first is the PulseX sacrifice, because we want to explain to people kind of a simple explanation of how this works, because I think much of the audience, like myself, is still going to be telling people they care about this opportunity. Many of us here are millionaires from Hex. I'm not just talking about the people on screen. I'm also talking about over 2,000 of the people that watch the show every week have become millionaires in the past 2 years from Hex. And so Hex was invented by Richard Hart, and Richard is now launching his third coin, which is going to come out at the same time as his second coin. The second coin, the initial investment phase is over. And now we're just reaching the point where people are running out of time to invest in this third coin called PulseX. And so the first thing people need to know is that they need to go to PulseX.info. And that's the official website. And you can get there from PulseX.com if you want to learn more about what PulseX is. I'm going to try to give like a really simple explanation here. And I'm just going to take it from what I messaged to people in my personal life. And that way people can just hear exactly how I would put it. So these are people that I've already onboarded into Hex, but then I'm going to walk everybody through. Even if you don't know what Hex is, we can give you the instructions that you need right here. So what I messaged to my onboards was Richard Hart's third coin is called PulseX, and you can donate to a fund and then you get the tokens, quote unquote, for free. So there aren't any tax implications immediately, only when you cash out. This way, no one has to sell immediately and the price can go up a lot. PulseX will be given out in 2 to 4 months, but in the launch phase now, the cost is going up 5% per day. PulseX is a copy of the most profitable software on Ethereum, which is Uniswap, which makes 1/3 fees off of all the cryptos that people trade on decentralized exchanges. PulseX is being copied to Pulse, which is Richard's copy of Ethereum with low fees. Richard is starting to get accepted more by mainstream crypto gatekeepers because they didn't get rich in Hex, which is up 500x since I got in, but now they can get into PulseX, and they already got into Pulse, which now is too late for people watching, but this shows all the opportunity that there is to come. I put over half of a year's salary into PulseX, and I recommend friends and family to put in $300 to $3,000 if they're new, because these things go up 10x or 100x or go down 90%. Right? It's a possibility too. But the thing that matters right now is that PulseX, the price goes up 5% every day. I believe it's 6 p.m. Central Time. And all you need to do is to send Ethereum or Liquid Hex, but do not end stakes early. All you need to do is send ETH to the PulseX address, not from exchange. So only send from MetaMask. And so we're going to go through the steps now about how somebody could send money from, let's say, Coinbase to an account that they open on MetaMask. And we're going to walk people through, because even though the concept is a little bit technical, right? Because that's how technology is. People, when they were learning what the difference was between VHS and DVD, you know, they could have gotten a very technical explanation. But the bottom line is, I'm going to go through the steps now as if people don't know. And I'm going to ask Marco and Wave 3 and Karim to maybe walk me through what the steps are that I need to do, right? So, and I'm going to do this live on air. I'm going to sacrifice some more because I still believe, even though the bonding curve has gone into effect 20% now, I think 15 or 20%, the number of X's that they can do still makes a lot of sense for people to be onboarding their loved ones. So,
welcome, Karim.
Yeah, guys, sorry about that little camera difficulty. I had to restart on one time browser.
So if time is of the essence, right, and we're basically telling people, you know, I'm not going to be sacrificing in PulseX, you know, in 2 weeks from now. I don't think that's a good enough of a deal. And so for now's the time in the next day or two. And so if you are wanting to invest probably more than $1,000, then you might have to ask somebody for details that you trust, because most of the time banks hold on to your money for a week or two when you try to first get into crypto. Absolutely. But for those people who even just want to put $500 in, you might just run to a Bitcoin ATM and follow the instructions to put Ethereum directly on your MetaMask. And you're going to download that from metamask.io. Another option, sometimes Coinbase lets you buy $500 worth of Ethereum and then send it off right away. And so in that case, what am I going to do, you guys, to get set up? And once I know where I'm going to buy my Ethereum to sacrifice for PulseX, where do I go next?
Sure. So the first thing I will suggest, and I'll let Karim speak on the staker apps option, because that's another option. I always tell my folks, either open a Coinbase or Gemini, right? It's very easy, it's free to open, very secure, very thing, etc. Next thing I will tell folks to get your money right away is to always do a wire transfer, especially if you're going to do 1,000 or more. Wire transfer is the way to go. Usually it's 15 to 30 bucks the most. You get your money, you get your funds into Coinbase. Now, if you don't have Ethereum at all, of course you want to transfer all your cash to Ethereum. So you get one shot. You're going to send it to MetaMask, and then you could do the transaction that way, right? If you do have a little bit of Ethereum there, I suggest doing USDC, because you avoid certain fees. Doing it that way, you save some money, and then you proceed forward. But that's the way I would do it. That's the way I recommend a lot of friends and family to do it. And you could do everything in one shot the same day. If you do account transfers, you're going to wait 3 to 5 days, and Coinbase could hold your funds even longer than that. So I don't recommend it doing it that way. That's how I would start off.
Absolutely. And then to piggyback on what Marco just said, because fundamentally, we need to kind of know which area of the world you are in, because you want to be very, very careful. There's multiple ways to skin a cat. But like Marco said it perfectly, timing is key, because let's say, you know, Coinbase, and then your money is frozen for 3-4 days. Imagine Maddie just talked about, you know, bonding curve, right? Now you got to worry about that 5% compounding for 3 more days. So as far as the sticker app goes, basically, however you can get your crypto, again, either you have a way to get it through a Bitcoin ATM, either you're in the United States, you have access to exchange, so you can do the wire transfer, because the value of the wire transfer is as soon as the USD gets in and you buy the crypto, you can take the money right out, literally, and then put it directly into a wallet that you can control. That is the key, right? You want to be able to sacrifice from a wallet that you have full control of the key. That's another essence, because if you do it from an exchange, they have your coins, not you. So it's very, very important. And then let's say you have a sticker app, which is, again, a wallet which you have the key because you control that. It's literally a simple send. You just send it from your sticker smart wallet directly through the sacrifice address. It will literally take you 30 seconds, because again, we make sure your transaction never fails. You just pay the regular Ethereum gas do with us. Transfer function on the app is free. There's no charge for that. So you just pay the Ethereum gas fee. And, you know, if you're lucky, it's at a decent time where the fees are not insane, and then you should be good to go and get your value in. So we're going to talk more about that all today too, in terms of the game theory, because I want to talk about that on the price, because that's going to help you. For example, those who catch the dip earlier today, you know,
Okay, that's a different topic. And what we're doing right now is onboarding people into PulseX. And so we're going to appreciate that Karim just mentioned Sacred App, which is a fantastic way for people to sacrifice for PulseX. You're going to go, like I said before, to pulsex.com. Then you can click on pulsex.info. And all you really need to do is to copy this address, make sure you're not sending from an exchange, and then you can use MetaMask to send your Ethereum to this address only. And you want to make sure that it's this address, 0x075E7. And like we said, it's a simple send function, but you can't do it directly from an exchange. So if you don't have your private keys, then you can't be sending. If you have downloaded MetaMask on your phone or in your browser on Chrome from metamask.io, that's metamask.io.
And really quick,
you're going to have your address. You're sending from Coinbase to your MetaMask address. And then from your MetaMask, you're sending to the PulseX Sacrifice address here.
Yeah, and for the new folks, since this is more targeted to the new folks that are learning how to do this, the most important step out of all this is when you do create your MetaMask account, you want to make sure the seed phrases you develop that MetaMask actually creates for you, you write them down, no screenshots, no Google Forms, no notes, no Samsung notes, nothing, right? No pictures, no anything. You write it on paper with ink, triple check it, quadruple check it before you continue. And then down the road, we talk about the security after that. But I think that's going to probably be the most important thing before you even try to attempt anything else. Just remember that. Don't share your C words, and write them down. No screenshots. Take them off the grid, okay?
And another best practice, very important, common sense. Just before you send, again, I managed all tickets. Check the last 4, letters, numbers, and the first 4 to make sure you have the right address. Don't do it fast. Take your time. Do it slow. And that's just me personally in terms of MetaMask. For the love of God, if you're gonna do MetaMask, try not to do it on your phone. Do it from the desktop. I just can't trust that browser on the phone for MetaMask. I'm sorry. So, but that's again, those 2 best practices. Check the address first. Make sure. Do it slow. And if you're gonna do MetaMask, try to do it from a desktop if you can.
Yeah, and for your seed phrase, do not ever take the words that Marco just mentioned. So you wrote those words down on a piece of paper. Do not ever copy those words onto any device that's connected to the internet, such as your phone, your desktop. That is intended to be stored offline. Hence the suggestion from Marco to write them down on a piece of paper. And the good news is, once you have those words written down, there are ways to boost your security, because that piece of paper is basically what gives you access to your wallet should you ever have to recover your MetaMask wallet. So there are actually good practices that could segue afterwards, but as long as you have that paper, everything moving forward can there are enhancements that can be done in addition to that, where you can boost your security and the overall safety of those words. But those are all very good recommendations.
So I'm gonna go to my MetaMask here. Then I'm gonna go to pulsex.info and copy the address 0x075E7. Then I'm gonna go back to my MetaMask app, and I'm gonna go to my account that has the Ethereum in it. Then I'm gonna hit the send button. And then I'm gonna paste in that address that we just found. I'm gonna hit next.
Always check the first 4, the last 4.
I'm going to type in the amount of Ethereum that I want to send, and I can switch it to the dollar amount. And so that might make a little bit more sense to new people. And then I'm going to hit next. And then it's going to show me a summary, and I can hit send. And once I hit send and the transaction confirms, then I have sacrificed for PulseX. Now I need to keep my security of that account really good, because it'll probably be another 2 to 4 months before I can claim the tokens through an airdrop and be able to use them and see their value go up or down.
Congratulations. And I always recommend once you send it, just in case, there's always that link Etherscan. Always verify the transaction went through, the amount you sent, and the address one more time, just to make sure it fully went through. And then you get to go.
Exactly. And you can use the leaderboard
so I can
to
see
check your wallet as well, like Maddie was about to do.
Exactly.
Yep.
I love that website.
Yep. So on Etherscan, you can see the status of a transaction.
Yeah, because you'll just paste your address in. This is blockchain, right? Remember, we say this all the time. If it's not on Etherscan, if it's not on the blockchain, it's like it didn't happen. So always, triple check. And then make sure, for those who are new, you got to track the token type. Because, for example, if you sacrifice Hex and then you go on Etherscan and you only look at the Ethereum transaction, you're not going to see it. You have to go and click the appropriate, tokens, right? It's an ERC transaction. Same thing if you did with USDC or whatever. And a good trick is you have the timestamp of the transaction when the transaction was made. So you can track it with a transaction ID, or you can track it with the sacrifice wallet itself. Look at the timestamp when you send the money, and then you should be able to see your transaction there.
Now, after the transaction has been on the blockchain for a little while, maybe 1 minute or 20 minutes, then it'll be picked up by this website called pulsexlead.com. That's another way you can check. And so if I load all the addresses here by going to the menu where it says top 100 and then dropping down to all, then sometimes it freezes the site because so many people have sacrificed for PulseX. But maybe even if I go to the top 5,000 here, I'll be able to search for that address.
Yeah. And just real quick, the notice that pops up every time Maddie refresh, it's very important because we're mainly covering the Ethereum blockchain sacrifice, which is where most of it is happening. Obviously, there's other ways, there's other chains as well. So make sure to follow and track those as well. But we focus on this because it's the easiest and the fastest way to sacrifice.
Awesome.
Totally. Awesome. So I wanted to cover that as the first topic because I think it's so important. I'm still onboarding people. I think that when people put in $100 and it can potentially change their lives, because what we saw in Hex is that, people made 1,000x in a lot of cases, actually. And so, that's going to turn $100 into $100,000. And that's life-changing money for a lot of people.
And one last thing too, this was great, right, to show folks. And some people, they're more visual. So what's beautiful about this community, guys, is that you have hundreds and thousands and so many hexagons out there that made videos, tutorials, how to see this step by step from a beginner to advanced levels. So if you're still not sure, take your time. There's still time there. Go on YouTube, check everybody else's channel in the Hex community or PulseX community, and they'll be willing to help you there too. So just in case.
Yep.
Awesome.
And Richard had posted it before also, so you can follow just Richard. He has posted links about where the sacrifice address was.
So I'm feeling pretty good coming off of this Hex conference. I still can't believe how many people tuned in to watch this year. The fourth day got like 19,000 views on my channel, over 40,000 views on Richard's 40,000 views on Richard's channel. It's been incredible. And the quality of the content was outstanding. What did you guys think?
Bang, bang. It was a dream come true for me. That's for sure.
Go ahead, Wave 3.
Yeah, it was incredible. So the content was amazing. And yeah, definitely have to give you a very special thanks for including, Hexagons on the stream with Richard Hart, because I don't think, that many people realize how much harder that will be in the future, because we still are in the pre-viral stages, and having that opportunity to speak with the founder of the most successful cryptocurrency on Ethereum that's literally, it's basically like a lottery ticket. So I would say the starstruck definitely applies in that situation when you're speaking to somebody that released a product at this level of success, and you see it like that. There's not a single other community in crypto that has that caliber of the conference that Maddie arranged for this year. So job well done, and thanks again for the invite.
Oh, my pleasure. It was a blast to host, for sure.
Yeah, so my part, I was saying, I'll go by each one of you. So first, wave 3, thank you for this journey of your TA, your mindset, the intelligence you put in this community. I learned a lot from you directly, watching your streams with you, with the fellas behind the scenes. So thank you for that. Kareem the Dream, thank you for this journey of just, man, just every time we talk, you just bring my education to the next level. You keep me sane, you keep me straight on the path. You make sure that we do things the right way. And Maddie, man, I don't know where to start, man. What you have done for this community the first year, second year, Vegas, and just the past 4 days, I would say thank you so much. You let me live one of my dreams. I get to see, get to speak to Richard Hart, on screen, behind the scenes, and it was a blessing. And you didn't have to do any of that. So, Maddie, thank you, brother. Seriously, never forget it, man.
My pleasure. And
Okay.
there's just so much good content. I've been trying to rewatch it, even though I've been busy following up with everything and planning the next conference. But if you haven't seen every minute of the Hex conference, it's on this channel and it's highlighted if you go to the YouTubes. And there's about 26 hours of content from 4 days. It's a lot to get through, but it really is kind of like a master class in not only Hex and Pulse, but also the community, the founder, people who have been studying this for 2 years, the public facing experts, and even just having the Pulse voice channel mods on there was really exciting to me, like people who haven't streamed before necessarily on this medium. And so it was really cool to see like 80 or 100 different streamers coming together, and all the viewers as well really pumped up the jam.
Yeah, I mean, as for me, what was amazing is, like, first of all, it felt like kind of like a family reunion, right? Because we're so busy running around. This is what I said again in my talk, what the Hex conference physical is going to be. It's going to blow people's mind. I mean, it's not just a shell, because I know for a fact a lot of people, including Kryptosparbach, the inspiration that you're gonna get. I mean, that's how they got inspired to even do the tour. So that was just like, okay, family reunion year over year, because for me it was my second time. Like I said before, I wasn't able to go to London, right, because priorities, and I want to be on the field. So that was kind of my redemption to that. So thank you, Maddie. And then just get to just hang out and chill, because sometimes people think, right, that we'll just like all disconnected, that again, that founder doesn't hang out with the people of his community, right, type of thing. So, and that's a perfect occasion to show everybody how basically connected the Hexicans truly are. We may not be next to each other all the time, but we'll keep in touch, and we're busy and we're getting stuff done. And again, we have our list of tasks we have to do. And it's really cool, because it's just done in a decentralized way, right? No expectation of work of others, but we're just very organized. We know what we need to do. And then next year we can come back and compare notes and be like, okay, what got done? What needs to be done? Yeah. And it's just like the vision board. And then we just, you know what I mean? It's like Dragon Balls. We get all the 7 balls, and then we get the dragon.
Make the wish. I like that.
First for a year, and then we're gonna figure it out, and then we come back. So, but yeah, amazing. And yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, can't wait for the next one, and definitely the physical in 2 months.
I would like to make a little recommendation to Maddie, right? I think this would be pretty cool, because everybody got to see the experience of us on stream and screen and all that stuff, but nobody got to see the green room and all the people get excited and the conversations we had. And it was a blast to meet everybody and talk, and everybody's laughing, giggling, sharing ideas. And I think there was a couple of great bloopers there too. So I think that'd be like something cool that the community could see here and there, see the behind the scenes sometimes, and like the bloopers, and just us going crazy, us shaking when we meet Richard. And it was cool, man.
Are those recorded? I was wondering.
I hope, because
that was not recorded. Okay.
Richard called me off guard.
This is funny, because little hint, Kryptosparbach was coming with something similar like that, because they were like, when we were live, they were filming also too. I mean, some of it is on IG and stuff. So look forward to that. There's kind of like Yon 2, and then you get the behind the scene type of thing. But yeah, for the conference, that would have been nice too.
I think we recorded it last year, and I like intentionally made the choice not to record it this year. It's just, it would have been great. That's why I say, and we're live, is because like sometimes you just go live and nobody knew. And then
at one point, I didn't, like I said, I just joined the room, and I'm like, hey guys, and I hear just one voice said, So you gonna cry again, bitch, on stream? And I look, I'm like, who the hell said that? And it was Richard. I was like, oh shit, it's Richard. Like that would be doing great, So, but everybody that saw Richard was surprised. I'm like, holy shit, So,
Oh
yeah, it would have been great,
I agree. Yeah. I regret. I wish we would have filmed it, but it was that much more genuine and everything, I guess.
Yeah.
We've got the in-person Hex conference coming up, like actually really soon. And
time flies, less than 2 months. Maddie, can you go over that one more time, please? Because somebody was asking earlier today, like, is it, because I don't want to give misinformation, is the 369 ticket completely done? Is now the new price? Because I was telling them, guys, you got to get them quick because they're going fast. So can you speak on that, please? Just give everybody.
Yeah. So the ticket price is subject to change at any time. Because I'm crunching the numbers. I'm trying to spend the exact amount of money that we're bringing in. But if people don't buy their tickets early enough, then that money doesn't get spent. And so that's why, in order to make the best event possible, people need to buy their tickets. So the ticket price will go up. I mean, it was temporarily higher than 369, and now I dropped it back down for a little bit. But at the same time, I mean, basically you're getting $300 worth of food already. It's a really sweet deal. I got everything worked out. It's going to be at the Excalibur there on the Strip.
Nice.
And it's going to be there in their conference area. 4 full days of conference, right? It's really an amazing deal. But at the same time, when we're practicing what we preach and talking about how, I'm sacrificing all my money for Pulse X, then I don't want to be overcharging for a conference because, $100 now, maybe it wouldn't buy that much better of a lunch or a dinner or something, right? But it would make a big difference if you're getting 100x or 1000x on your Pulse X sacrifice. So that's why I wanted to keep the cost very reasonable, more than reasonable actually, because normally there would be a lot of overhead with this type of thing. But anyway, so it's going to be, so you can buy your ticket. There's really not that many tickets left. I mean, let's see. So we can look here. There's this many $369 tickets left that include lunch. They might be all sold out. I think there were 2 left like that. Sold out. See?
Yeah, because somebody literally were asking that in the chat and they say it was sold out. So
that's sold out. And then $369. Let's see if there are any of these left. There's probably, so there should be maybe at least 10.
Right now,
I think so. So last night there were 40 more of these that are at the price of $369. And then the last 100 tickets will cost $555 and not include lunch. And that's going to be the 600 people that will set a new all-time record for the most Hexicans in one place at one time.
That would be dope, man. And we had plenty of time, just like how we dollar cost average, folks could have dollar cost average all year for this type of event. It's worth it, man. So guys, don't miss it, man. It was, the first one was amazing. This one's going to blow it out the water. So be there.
Yep. But again, you've been warned. Maddie's letting you know you've been warned. So if you
that's right. Yeah. Because it's not, last year I was pretty cool. I added more tickets at the end. This is in a conference center and there's a cap on the number of people, especially with all the health issues and stuff that people are having. So it's this is going to be only 600 people. And it's that includes me and the people I'm bringing and anybody that's volunteering there. So really there aren't that many tickets left. And really, even if you're speaking there, I bought a ticket, these guys bought tickets. And so that's, it's 600 people and I'm not, this is all volunteer work. So I'm not donating to anybody, even if they're a speaker. Although Richard, he said he can't make it. He'll be live streaming to us, which is pretty special. 600 Hexicans all in the same room with Richard live streaming in, being able to maybe ask him questions even and that sort of thing. So this is going to be awesome. I know that people are going to be pissed. I know people are going to try to show up and that's okay. You'll just miss it if you don't buy a ticket now. So hexticket.com. hexconference.com takes you to the same place.
Mm-hmm. And again, the most important thing to me, at least, again, just remind people, and I said that in my talk, is the melting pot of, again, Hexican in one place, brainstorming ideas. If you're one of those people kind of still soul searching your place in the community, how you can add value, you're going to be able to be literally in direct contact with Hexicans and people that want to change the world. So, you know, if you're serious about doing certain things, then guess what? You get to talk to me directly live there too. So it's not just like, hey, we're going to come and have a lot of fun, which we definitely will, make no mistake about it. But it's about also be able to brainstorm, you know, some of the things that we can do on the go for in 2022. Like I've said, I've shared my vision for 2022. And literally, if we're lucky, and I think we will be, right by that time, Pulse Chain should be launching and everything like that, because then we get our lower fees. And now there's no more excuse. There's no more roadblock. We can just onboard the rest of the world. Those who really, you know, will really benefit from the lower fee, because, you know, for them, even $10 is a lot of money. So,
yeah. And if you're, I mean, if you have your own YouTube channel and you talk about Hex and you haven't been to one of these live events, you're going to meet a lot of your fans.
yeah,
You're
great
going to,
too,
you know, a room with only 600 people in it, I think is the perfect size for like where we are in Hex, but that is limited attendance. And that's really exciting at the end of the day, because you will be able to look over and see Karim next to you. You will, you know, be able to shake our hands, confirm that we are not bots, and celebrate with the rest of the Hexicans. And we're gonna have talks like we did at the in-person Hex conference, or sorry, at the online Hex conference. And so it's gonna be really exciting.
Just be warned, Kareem's gonna make you dance all night, all day. You know,
that's right.
I love it.
At some point, yeah, right.
Awesome. Well, that settles that. Everybody's getting their ticket at hexticket.com. And
bang.
Yeah, that all looks good.
I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. You get to see Wave 3 in person get whipped again, you know?
Yeah, right.
Round
That
two.
was epic. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
The commitment. I mean, that's the fun thing about in Vegas. I mean, again, people think most often it's just a gambling thing. There's so much cool stuff you can do and visit, and you know, even if you like, you know, extreme stuff like skydiving or going driving in a desert with buggies and stuff like that. There's so many great things you can do that does not revolve around gambling. And I think it doesn't get speaking enough. It's a great city for other things. So T-Money got a list of those great activities. So that's awesome.
Yeah, somebody's asking if the tickets come with gear. That's to be determined, basically. And it's easy to be like super honest on this. Like, if people buy tickets, then there will be a budget for gear. They buy them early. They buy them now. I still have time to make the gear. If not, then we're just getting the room. And so I'm pretty certain that we're going to get the gear along with it. But at this point, the tickets are being sold as fundraising. If you raise the funds for the ticket and for the event to occur, you're the only ones who will be able to get in. But it's like a sacrifice, you know. I'm not selling you anything, and you know, if something goes wrong, then you know that's that. But at the end of the day, it's already coming along super well. We've already raised like all the funds we need to do the conference itself, and the Hex gear is going to be the icing on the cake. And I'm going to get really creative. And all I can say is the gear that we have, it's going to be something that goes down in history. That's
dope.
Bang, bang, Maddie. Love it.
I like it.
Awesome. So we have 290 people watching. Welcome. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't. And so we've got our quants on here today, and
I gotta say this, I'm very excited for today because I have a lot of great things and ideas that I want to share. Because you know, again, the last two, because you know, when you're traveling, right? I feel bad. I was like, oh man, I'm only there 30 minutes, and I got bad service, and I'm like this, that. I'm like I miss Quant Gang, like what we do multiple hours. So today, a lot of free alpha. You know what I mean? The second giving
All
truth.
right.
So we have a lot of great stuff. So, and I tweeted about it. So, and I'm glad people showed up because it's going to be great. And we have a great topic. Maddie, is Trevon's going to be at some point or no? Just wondering.
I should check my Twitter.
Yeah.
He
so-
and I messaged back and forth, and he said he wanted to come on. He's a viewer of the show.
I could
And,
set him up too if you need it.
But then maybe I don't check my Twitter messages very often. I don't think he does either. Oh yeah, here we go. He said he's doing a meetup around that time, but he should have a good Wi-Fi connection. So I'll send him a link now.
Perfect. Yeah. And then that would give us time to preface to get started because we're going old school, like way back in the day. So because this is important. And I want to actually hear Wave 3's opinion on some of this stuff too. So because I think it's gonna be great. So Maddie, if I can I share my screen?
Of course.
All right, so hold on a second here.
The teaser today for the episode in the title, it says, did 33% of Liquid Hex get sacrificed for PulseX.com?
Yeah, that and more.
I heard that in the Hex conference. Can we confirm that this is?
Because we were going based on the liquid amount of back. Because if you go to like Apex.win, some of the charts, obviously as more and more stuff gets end stake, the liquidity of those hex come and go. But if you just look at the sheer amount of what was there before and what got sacrificed, because we crossed over 2 billion hex, that's a big deal. Quick math. If some people remember, we used to be, and I'm gonna pull up the chart. I look at it based on what I call the money that has been on rotation. The short amount of stakes used to gravitate way back when to like 10 billion hex. Then it got to 8 billion hex. Then it got to 6 billion hex. And then we've been hovering around, the big payday amount up and up about usually 5.5, almost 6 billion hex rotation every 45 days. The people just do short-term stake. And now off of that amount, another massive chunk got absorbed via sacrifice. So Maddie, this is where that 32% comes in. Now, when you put it up, and I'm gonna pull up the data from Hex.vision.
I wasn't sure if it was, and this is why I'm asking, and this is super relevant. I wasn't sure if it was 33% of the Liquid Hex that we think is not owned by the OA.
Yes, it's that.
Or if it was 33% of just like whatever is sitting there in the liquidity pool. Do we know how much Liquid Hex is not attributed to the OA?
Yes, if you go to the Hex daily stats, they track that. That's kind of all the because again, we
the
know
7th column, I think. Something
yes,
like that.
because we kind of know obviously if you OG enough in Hex, that OA coins they never hit market, so that's why we don't count those because we're talking about again hundreds and hundreds of billions of Hex, so 32% number wouldn't make sense. So we're talking about what's sellable on market, Maddie. So which is again on that daily stat shows that as well. And another way you can see that is by what's being on rotation, turn into stake, comes out, people cash out interest, restake principal type of thing. So you see, that's the circulation right here that's being removed by a bunch.
So but that doesn't tell me what the OA has.
No. OA stuff is separate. When you look at the actual liquidity of what's available, hold on, just go down to the right. Because he will tell you where is
You're talking about this
liquidity pool. Yeah, that's what's right now currently on the pools, right? When you compare the Hex USDC and then the Hex ETH as well, that's what's available. Now, what I like to do is when I go to Hex.vision, I look at how many Hex is actually what I call on rotation, anything that's like about 45 days to 2 months. Because that's what actually matters. Anything OA to me, it's like it's being removed out of circulation. It's not coming down anytime soon. Anything sacrificed to me is like an OA address. It's not coming that because that number compared to overall supply, it's like 97%. So I'm just looking at what's left. What's left is what's sitting on liquidity plus what's available on other people's wallet, liquid, that's non-OA. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just shocked because like Hex is becoming extremely more rare. I mean, like a third of the liquid supply, a third. That's 1 out of 3.
Yeah, I got you. Actually, you know what? Let me just do that right now, just to even save time. Let me share my screen, so I'll pull up what I'm trying to show you right here. So you
If folks forget, like billions and billions of hex was sacrificed last time. It's been about almost a week and a half, and already 2 billion hex were sacrificed this time. We got about a month out still. Like, it's gonna get crazy, folks. It's gonna get crazy.
Let me know when you can see my screen.
So it's $500 million of USD worth of hex.
Yes, it's over. If you go, you gotta go to Etherscan.
Yeah, if you go to Etherscan, we're at 2 billion, and just about 2 billion, over 2 billion.
Wait, so it was moved out of here?
Yeah, so if you go to, for example, grab the address.
Yep.
And Pulse info, if you want.
On Etherscan, yeah. No. Put the. You have to put. You're funny.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
No, no, it's a shortcut in my keyboard. So
I
do text
you
replace,
like,
and I come up with a string.
I thought you were trolling us, just putting OA.
No, it's way more efficient than
dope, man.
Looking it up.
Quick token, Maddie. Token and then hex.
Yeah. There you
see?
go.
Oh, half. Yeah, that's $500 million worth.
Yeah, but then if you look over on the left side, you see the number of hex. It says 2 million, 2 billion.
Yeah,
right next to under hex, the logo.
Yeah,
and that
2 billion
billion just happened over the last 24 hours.
$500 million.
2 billion like yesterday, and now another 60 million just came in, and there's gonna be some of the stuff that I'm gonna be talking about related to that, because again, that's where the liquidity really is of what's really available.
So how much? Let me pull up. I probably got it here. The OA audit.
A lot of that liquidity that was sacrificed was sitting on people's wallets already. It wasn't in the pool.
I know, but you guys, what I'm trying to say is there's a certain amount of hex that is not owned by the OA. It's like 5% of the total supply of hex.
It's less, Maddie. It used to be 5.
Okay, so like even 3. Less than that.
Yes.
But like, I just want to make sure people understand that like we're not talking about the liquidity pool here.
Yes.
Like, we're not talking about a third of this, because like way more, like what, 8 times this was sacked. So like this is not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the actual liquid hex that is believed to be in existence. 1/3 of that was taken off the market, and now through game theory of believing that Richard Hart can sell billions of dollars of Bitcoin and Ethereum and USDC before he sells any billions of dollars of hex and PulseX, which he probably never will. So
Maddie, I got you. Share my screen, please.
What do you got?
All right, cool. Let me know when you can see. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, first thing here, quick math to give some rules. This bar here is very important. This is Hex.Vision and the staking. And the reason why this is important is this is what I was talking about. Back in the day, and not too long ago, the biggest bar here, the rotation, which is, because this is like a monthly chart, used to go as high as, not too long ago, 6 billion hex. And before that was way more than now. On the highest, it's only 3.38. And the one coming after is 2.5. Now, when you do this, when you kind of like zoom in just to see what's coming up towards the end of the month, and it's going to make a lot of sense, is you're seeing that there's a nice chunk that's coming out this week and then towards the end of the month. My personal speculation, a lot of that's going to be sacrificed. Some of it, obviously, people just, cashing out interest, restaking principal. But what I want people to realize is that those bars are getting smaller and smaller. Look, the next really big bar like this here, which is 1 billion hex by itself, it's not until like May of 2022. Back in the day, we used to get many of those. Like hex is literally getting more and more scarce. So when you understand that OA stuff is literally gone, when you understand that Hexicans are typically, again, I track this, 90 to 95% plus staked. Whatever you're seeing here as future market supply, which is kind of like getting closer and closer to the source of truth, because more and more people either sacrifice or stake. And then they wait for their stake to end in order to, take some profit and then restake the rest. So this chart is getting increasingly more and more important, because the in-between stake that used to just sit idle in the wallet has most of it been sacrificed. And those bars are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Like say, for example, if I just zoom in just here, like what's coming starting tomorrow, right? We have a nice little wave coming here, and this is going to be great for liquidity for, you know, a big money to be able to snatch some of that. So more and more is going to continue to get sacrificed. And I think, I don't know exactly where, but some of it could be even away stakes, you know what I mean? So it's important to realize that, again, the amount per bar is getting smaller and smaller compared to what it used to be. And this is really what I want to attract people's attention into it, because Hex is exponentially getting more and more scarce. And you combine that with the fact that share rate now is well over 20,000 Hex for one t-shirt and is continuing to go rapidly fast. So when you combine the two mechanisms, it's literally like a vacuum cleaner that's just absorbing more and more and more and making whatever's left more and more valuable. And that's what I really want people to understand. That's very, very important.
And what's beautiful is that like we always say, the average staking length is going higher. We're like around 6 years. And back then, I remember when we used to get stakes coming out every month or every other month. It used to be either 100 million hacks, 60 million hacks, 200-300 million hacks, and you see less and less of that, right?
Yeah, way less.
Soon, you know, like even if like 10, 20, 30 million come out, the way the liquidity and everything is, it's barely going to do a drop to the bucket. It's hardly going to hurt us. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but back then, like a few months ago, when somebody sold 1 million hex on the market, it used to take us a week or two to recover. People sold millions and millions every day, and it only does like a little movement to us. So guys, get ready.
Another thing you get to realize here, not only the big bar that used to be scary back in the day. Oh my God.
I switched over to the next chart, so we can go back to that, Karim. Here we go.
Yeah, sorry. So another thing I want people to realize is that besides those nice little spikes here and there, which could be just, again, whales ready to sacrifice or whatever it might be, after that, look, there's a drop. There's almost nothing here. And then after basically March, you literally got nothing. Guys, look at this. Peanuts. Nothing until like May.
And that
which means this might be your last opportunity. I'm quoting Richard Hart a little bit, paraphrasing. Might be your last chance to get some supply, because after that, it's gone. You're not going to be able to see anything. So I really want people to understand this is the time to double down what Maddie said. This is the time really to reach out to people, friends and family, get that liquidity while it still lasts, because after that, good luck getting any hex. And then this could be arguably just be a stake that's just going to push share rate. Like you see all those t-shirts, you can bet your bottom dollar that 80 to 90% of that is going to go back in, because share rate is going to be so expensive just to go back in position. So this is just like most likely one big wallet. So, but there's almost no hex left, guys. That also could be just one big wallet. And then the last chance of getting some stuff is probably the people here that did their stake, you know, a year ago, whatever. Hey, new year, get some money, whatever it might be, right around this area by my birthday. But you can also bet your bottom dollar that a lot of those people most likely are going to sacrifice hex also. So get it while you still can. It's very, very important. That might be
those people are going to sacrifice hex.
I'm just saying the balance of probability, it's in their best interest to sacrifice some of it if they haven't, you know, because remember, people couldn't guess exactly when the sacrifice will be. Back in the day, you didn't know that it will be 46 days or whatever it might be. So now, because it's longer, you may have an opportunity to say, wow, my stake's going to end, sacrifice still going to be open. Remember, Maddie, it's free money, because you're making interest. Even though the rates go bad, if you're earning a good amount from your stake, and if you got a big payday stake coming out, you're not going to care about ratio being bad. You're just going to sacrifice what you want to sacrifice to get your points. You know, I mean, obviously you're going to, you know, take some principal, take some interest out, but I'm firmly believe that some of it is definitely going to get sacrificed. Just today alone, we got almost 60 million hex sacrifice. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. It'll keep coming off. That's what people do with their liquid hexes. They can sacrifice it. And, but yeah, I just wanted to explain how rare hex is. And I'm switching over now, Karim, to this other screen. And this is the Gunter, the accountant analysis from like several months ago, probably before the Pulse sacrifice happened. And this is under t.me/hex audit.
And he gets dynamic.
I made the graphic for that. It's a Excel.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gunter, man. Guy does some remarkable work.
He's awesome. And so what it's showing here is it's showing that even back before the Pulse sacrifice, even before people learned, as many people learned how good staking is, that the hex that the OA does not control, that there's only 31% of that that's circulating, and 68% is staked. And so those are the users who are not the OA. 30% only is circulating. And of that, so that was 25 billion at the time. And it's clear that a lot of that has come off the market. And now even so if we're to believe the figure about 2 billion hex has been sacrificed, which we can see on chain, does that mean that there's only 6 billion hex circulating now?
Is this up to date, by the way?
Or
that was just about to say,
the number been exaggerated?
The up-to-date version, we have to go to Hex Trading to grab that. I'll ask Gunter and update it for next week, but it's definitely even less
we'll
than
update
that.
it next week. Okay.
Yeah. But it's definitely less. And Maddie, you're definitely onto something here. The bottom line is, again, that's what I want to Hex that vision to show people, is you're in that ballpark area, and it's going to go down faster and faster and faster, because a lot of it is being sacrificed. A lot of it is going to be reused because Chi share is getting more and more expensive. So they have to make sure they get back in to be able to continue to maintain the money printer. So when you compare, and also a lot of it is being taking profit. You know, some people, you know, they can only delay gratification for so long. You know, I know people that, you know, they cashed out an entire stake, and some of it, like myself, were just staying in. So there's also that too. So you got to understand that it's just getting more and more and more scarce. And one of the best indicator is by looking at Hex that vision, because when all said and done, whether they took profit because they got bills to pay or wanted to buy some Hex Flex, whatever it might be, and good for them, whether they sacrifice, ultimately Hex that vision tells you what's left, and what's left is what's going back into a new rotational stake, and those big spike are getting smaller and smaller. Again, what used to be multi billions of Hex is now barely. On any given day, we don't even have a single day besides that big spike that I show when we had a billion Hex coming out. We're talking about 100 mil, 150 mils. You know what I mean? It's those again, because I used to monitor this for a very long time. It's getting smaller and smaller, exponentially faster.
But don't forget, Karim, the most important thing too, that's happening. But the most important thing is T-shirt rate is exploding faster and faster. So don't forget that, guys. Hex is important to grab. But make sure you have your T-shirts, because you will get a clone when Pulse Chain comes out, and that's becoming even more scarce. So get your money printers.
People who are playing the trading game, you know, like the poker player we had on the show, Alec Torelli, you know, it's a losing game. It might be good in the short term, but in the long term, you're going to end up transferring your wealth to people who are not gambling on the price, but who are holding more long term. And that's the point of Hex. And these numbers are incredible. These numbers, you should not believe these numbers because they're so good. I mean, the 31% that's user circulating, that doesn't mean people want to sell that. That's not, you know, that's not Hex that you can even buy. And the people who are holding Liquid Hex, the higher the price goes, the less they'll need to sell anyway. Hex is catching on faster than people can cash out. And people are needing to cash out less and less. The majority of people investing in Pulse X and Pulse are people who believe in Richard and believe in Hex. And so if Hex keeps getting more scarce, and if Pulse X and Pulse have the awesome vampire utility awesomeness that we can pretty much count on, because we've seen the testnet, because we've seen the game theory chats, because we understand what a vampire attack is, because we understand that technology moves forward in leaps, and this is, you know, and Ethereum's been dead in the water for a while. So to see these numbers, they are incredible, and you know, you wouldn't believe them if you were a whale unless you just started looking on the blockchain, and you'd have your team analyze that, and then you would believe it because the proof is there.
Hey, Wave 3. So from what we just said, what excites you more regarding this whole thing? I'm curious.
Yes. So I would say one. So this just adds to the idea, if anything. So the fact is, when you look at other coins, so let's just use Bitcoin as an example, you do not have access to this type of on-chain data. You just don't. Like most of there's a lot of liquidity for Bitcoin that's on centralized exchanges that is purposely not being shared to the users of that exchange, because it allows for exchanges to have an unfair advantage over the rest of the market. So the fact is, if you look at these metrics as a source of truth, this is the most pure form of truth that exists in the market today. So the fact is that with the Pulse X sacrifice going on, as Maddie was suggesting, with the circulating supply, and then of that circulating, there's perhaps a small percentage of that that's actually available on the market, and now there's over 2 billion of that's been sacrificed for Pulse X. So huge supply sink there. So that it's already an insane, like 30, if you consider percentages, the amount of percent that the sacrifice knocked out for the circulating supply is ridiculous. Like it is that is a very significant percentage. That is a huge pumpamental for price performance. And the other aspect is going into the Pulse chain launch, since now Hexicans have access to a consensus network on Pulse chain. There's potentially other incentives that could also segue into Pulse X. So this is speculation. What I'm going to say now, I don't know if this part will be true. So just do your research on this part. But if the incentive token also gives incentives to hex holders that require further purchasing of any hex off the open market, that it would be insane. Like it would be one of the most ridiculous price bumps you could see, because when you look at other networks in the market, a lot of price pumping occurs on other smart contract platforms through yield farming. So there's a bunch of liquidity pools, and then there's some sort of incentive token that's incentivizing people to contribute to those pools, and then people buy things off the open market and contribute to those pools to gain the incentive token. So there's already a huge pumpamental just off the T shares. So the fact that we now have all this smart contract capability with extremely low fees, there can be other forms of like this. It's already insane how much supply sink there already is just off the base game theory. Like it's incredible. And
I want to jump on that for a second, if you don't mind, because I think it's really important to keep in mind that, like, I think that's why the OA has to sack 10x what everybody else has done, which is what it did for Pulse, and what it did in Hex ultimately is acquire 90% of the supply or more. But the reason why I believe it's even more important for the origin address to take control of Pulse X and never sell Pulse X, but to vote, is because otherwise the Hex community could be incentivized as the majority shareholder in Pulse X, which will have the voting rights to control how the incentive token is paid out. That would be harmful, because where the incentive token is going to pay for itself, I believe, is by incentivizing people to bridge in their free copies with their Ethereum copies, and or to bridge in value from Ethereum, which will, through Hart's law, give everything on Pulse value if there's a Pulse Ethereum bridge that is being, you wouldn't say like you just say being incentivized, like you wouldn't say being bribed, you wouldn't say being like fully supported. But I think that's why we see other things having value, is because people put money there and say, here's your liquidity pool, here's your bridge, you can take from either side. And then that proves the price of something on these decentralized markets more than any other market. Do you agree or disagree with that assessment that the OA should sack, and because it could help vote in the best interest of the system?
Beyond that, Maddie, I mean, to me, it's just token economics 101, right? Because you gotta avoid the tragedy of the commons, in a sense where, imagine you need to have the big bucket with the water and then have the little faucet and then drips the incentives to those who have it. Let me use a Hex analogy, same thing. right? OA tokens are very powerful because they serve a very powerful need. Like I told you all the time since day one, it is the function of your APY. This is the reason why you're able to get, 38, 40% and growing as we actually scaling, because somebody needs to not stake to allow the other stuff to create that 3.69 value that you're going to be able to get. Imagine something similar on the Pulse chain, example number 2. You need those massive amount of Pulse to continue to pay the delegate, I don't want to say miners, but the validators, which then going to be able to pay the delegators, because remember, there is no inflation, right? So you got to start with a bigger number. Same thing on PulseX. You're going to need massive amount of PulseX to be able to incentivize or the liquidity farmings to happen, so the game continue to be played for a long period of time. So it's kind of like that big brother, if you will, that's just making sure, hey, there's a honeypot here, and that honeypot will only be given to those who behave for the best interest of the system. It's just literally that simple, because ultimately it's just to keep saying we're going to keep be able to pay people to do the right behavior.
Yeah. And it's genius the way it's done too, because with those PRC pairs, it's incredible what incentives, how well those work in the market. It's already proven to work. It causes a lot of speculative demand to enter, try things out, and then try to gain yield off money markets or liquidity pools. So the statements regarding a vampire attack are very, very plausible, because at the end of the day, the market purely runs off a set of incentives. And then if you have good incentives with the PRC pairs, people will use those liquidity pools to gain the incentive that's also provided with that. So I think it's, very early on, like I fully expect Pulse Chain. I think it's going to be a lot more powerful very early on than a lot of people give credit for. Like, I think there's sort of this idea that things may take, and granted, like, sure, there's going to be new builders that come in, try things, and then that part's going to take time. But the amount of liquidity that spills over can be tremendous off PulseX, and that is already. I honestly believe that PulseX is going to have, if you just look on DeFi ranking websites where they just measure how much value is used on a network, I think there's going to be a very tremendous amount of value that spills over into Pulse Chain within, honestly, like a 6 month. I think it's going to be incredible. I think it's just going to be a parabola where it just rockets up, and then that now, since there's a consensus layer, you can actually now add up the total value that's locked in Hex and add that, as it should, to the metrics, because a lot of these other ranking websites don't include Hex on there, even though it's locked out on average, for about 6 years.
Yes.
So the TVL, I mean, if we actually have like a true TVL metric, Pulse Chain is going to be a lot higher than other EVMs that exist in the network. So it's a huge pumpamental, guys. Like I'm very bullish on Pulse Chain. Like I would say at this point, we saw what Hex has done on the price charts. There really shouldn't be any skepticism as to what is achievable with Pulse.
Well, here we've got an expert here in the chat. This person is clearly shutting us down and says it seems like a fake Ethereum that will be full of worthless P copies that will never be released. Well, here we have a chart that shows you how valuable Ethereum copies are, and on average, it's a 656x, which I'm not sure if you're a lover of fiat or Ethereum or Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is up 0% from 1 year ago today.
Oh, wow.
And this is how much Ethereum copies are. Ethereum copies are not worthless. Too much money is being thrown at this type of thing. And early adopters are rewarded with riches beyond their wildest dreams. In such a short period of time, it almost doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, when you're making magic internet money, when our made up internet money is better than the government's made up internet money, then this is the reality. Check the numbers yourself, Yeah.
And more importantly, Maddie, too, just to bring it back full circle, what this gentleman fails to understand, or lady, whoever that is that we have the single most important thing, point blank, is product market fit.
Yes.
Yeah, the insane guy's fee is fucking real. This is no fiction. Like this thing, if it wasn't like remove all the other copies or whatever, just Hexicans alone, we just can't wait, hallelujah, to just be on there so we can continue to do what we do every day. So just the utility alone makes it valuable. That's number one. If you were to remove all the incentives, which are insane, like Wave3 was already explaining, like just that alone is already insane value. Timing, perfect. Bear market is here. So it's all those things where it's like, even when those guys that got burned, they're going to look for the new narrative. Where do you think they're going to go? Oh, Pulse Chain, all this, all that. Because now we're literally the new game in town that's actually creating stuff that are innovative and then moving the space forward. So when people still underestimate that, again, because it wasn't like Richard stayed in the beginning, hey, we're going to do Pulse Chain. No, Ethereum started to suck again, and then we had to do what we had to do. That's what progress is about. And people are going to go where progress goes. It's as simple as that, because they're going to get tired of paying those crazy, insane fees. And then they're going to come and try it out. They're going to get the freemium. They're going to get the other, copy for free. And then when they realize, oh, wow, it's actually better. It's actually faster. It is a better store of value because it is deflationary. All the coins are deflationary. Literally, you can accumulate all three and never sell. And in the balance of probability, many years down around, you'll be up tremendously because they're deflationary. It's insane. We actually going to get real proof of stake. Not when you get memes of Vitaly talking about, hey, it might take another 6 years. I mean, just think about it. All those people that got their money locked on Coinbase on the ETH 2.0 that can't take the money out. Imagine if the thing doesn't come out for another 6 years. And Maddie, all you can get is 4% a year for 6 years. You're gonna be so pissed, it's gonna be insane.
And Karim, what's crazy about all this too is that when people say Pulse Chain is useless or Pulse X is gonna be useless, nobody wants to use Ethereum anymore, right? Everybody's gonna be flocking over here. You're getting free money, free copies. And if people know how much folks love yield farming, especially in the Binance network and all that stuff, for example, aka Pancake Swap, guys, when the Pulse X comes out and they're getting the free other side for free, never been done before, they're all coming over. Whether it's now, whether it's a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year later, it doesn't matter. They're coming. Like it's inevitable. They're not. There's no way you could block this. There's no way you could ignore this. It's crazy, man.
Another thing, Marco, I'll give you a practical example, right? Again, business, for all of you business people watching right now, this is practical facts. Us at Staker app, right? Startup, fairly doing well, yada, yada. But the reality, the facts are just to turn on the wallet. I mean, just for the last 2 days, and I just want to say this real quick, we'll apologize to our users, but the way has been so insane. It costs almost $300. Like for the last 24 hours, Maddie, I don't know if you can pull up the gas tracker thing. This thing has been averaging 170 to 200 gwei nonstop the whole freaking day. I mean, it's so unusable. When we say $100 to turn on a wallet, when you pay $10 and we pay 90, that's when the gwei are about 100 gwei, 90 to 100. Go look at the gas tracker and we'll find out the last time that thing was below 100 over the last 2 days. Insane. Now do another math. We're averaging about 2,000 also 1,500 to 2,000 weekly on board. Guys, $2,000, $100 a pop on a good day, that's 200 grand. 200 grand a fucking week just for the miners. Richard pulled up the stat yesterday, how much we spend just as I mean, it's
20 million,
insane.
was it?
It's insane. This is just wallet activation. If we do 2,000 smart wallet a week at $100 a pop on average, because sometimes even more than that, because we don't put the weight. But it's fucking insane. Pulse Chain, pennies.
And think about what you could do with the extra money.
You can turn up 10,000 people. That's insane. $1,000, I can basically turn on all the wallets right now.
I mean, it's not that much, like that compared to everybody else.
Oh yeah, no, I know, but my point is the guy that says, "Oh, nobody's gonna use it," whatever. We talk about real, practical business people because we are onboarding people. We're out there in the field, so like they don't know what they're talking about because all they talk about most of that is shitcoins. Like,
wait a second, let me drink some of this coffee or water or something so I can spit it out really quick. The person who's hating in the chat sacrificed thousands with no expectation.
Okay, good. All right, so he's cool then. All
right. Okay,
all right.
We're
Just
back.
Sure.
And we're back.
Yeah.
And we're live.
Yeah. So seriously, and I guess it's whatever. But yeah, that's not how it works. All markets are manipulated, but like Hex is manipulated the least. It's just the founder or somebody bought up 95% of the coins and is never willing to sell them. So that's not, if you want to call that market manipulation, then we need to seriously check that term.
Yes.
Because
Hey, Maddie,
I know
right?
a lot of
Because
people
Mhm.
who are millionaires now and who like have the option to cash out, and like probably the majority of people watching this show are people who, you know, are financially free or are on their way there because they've studied the hundreds of hours of Hex content that they needed. They've done the on-chain analysis, and they've decided that the word market manipulation, like, that's reserved for bad actors. And, you know, pumpamentals is the term that we give to good actors. And the pumpamentals, right, that Richard came up with are brilliant, and probably so brilliant that once people get the smart idea to start copying them, they're not going to work as well, because timing is everything, because community is everything, because he's creating new whales. You don't get to surprise people with 1 penny Bitcoin anymore, right? Like back when Bitcoin was a penny, people hated it way worse than they do now. So,
Maddie, you forget the most important one,
please.
integrity. Because at the end of the day, this is what's so funny about the term market manipulation, right? Those people are nowhere to be found to say that garbage when the price goes up and then they get money. It's only when it goes against what they expect, now all of a sudden it's market manipulation. What it comes down to is very simple. Like Richard said, everything else is a meme. It's about buying and holding. It's about having real diamond hands. Everything else is not relevant. And we have seen times and times and times again, people talk a good game, but then they know where to be found. They fucking disappear, find the dumps on your head. I mean, I can go on and on and on the list. This is just simple, like, hey, like he said, and like we've been saying, we're not going anywhere. We parked the car, we parked the bus, we're here 15 years, we're putting the tent, we're building the house, we're not going anywhere. If you thought that we were doing noise now,
Stake that land.
Wait, it just gets better every year. We're just taking over. That's it. Occupation, that's it.
Yeah, that part's very true. The other chains, they do in fact, this is already proven, like they do in fact sell their native assets to support any development, and that's obviously not good for price. Like that's and if the market size is not at a mature enough state and there's too much selling that takes place, it's very damaging to it. Kills literally the price chart, and then it adds all these resistances. It's not good. It's really not good. So, you know, I the comments where nobody, like, because I saw a comment earlier where somebody was suggesting nobody was going to use the chain, and that's not true. Like, if there's incentives, people will. It's money. Money drives actions in this market, especially crypto. If there is incentives, which there's obviously going to be with Pulse X, like there's going to be a lot of usage that spills over from Ethereum. Like Ethereum, it's, to me, it's just at this point, it's sort of like perhaps like a better version of Bitcoin at this point, but the usage of it sucks. Like it's horrendous. And the merge, which is happening later this year, does not fix the core issues that involve new users coming in. It does not address any of those issues. That's not going to be fixed for a very long time. So this is a huge opportunity. And then also, you know, Pulse and PulseX being advertised, you know, in their proper form, you know, as a complete product, or even the branding aspects of it, the outreach is already better. There just isn't better. There's just not there's just everything. If you go to other communities and you compare just from an outreach standpoint, it's you're basically going to see a big step down on it once you leave the Hex community in that regard, and you see it translates over into the price charts. And to me, it's just there, every single bullish scenario you can ask for, it's there. So, you know, I just think that a lot of people are projecting as to what other coins have done, but you have to look at what Hex has done, and then you could have like a much better assessment as to what Pulse and Pulse X can do. Because I think a lot of the FUD that's coming up, they're projecting as to like other coins on the market that are totally irrelevant to Pulse X, Hex, and what's being built in this community.
Like what?
They haven't done the deep dive. They think it's just another copy. They don't understand the advanced game theory attached to it. That's native.
But the copies have done super well.
Well, yeah, no, Matty, that's not the point. That's besides the point. My point is that we're not talking about
the ones on the screen.
Super well, it's not going to be pulse chain. We're going to be better than Ethereum. I firmly believe it has the capacity to do better because it is better. And we can go again and enumerate all the reasons why it is better. But the bottom line is, I don't think it's just going to do well. It will be better. And it will shock the market. My number one complaint, if I can even call that a complaint with Ethereum, is when I wear my business hat, is when I watch Vitalik, when I watch the team and what they're doing, there is a total lack of urgency to take care of the end user, which is your fucking customer. When I see that in businesses, Matty, I'm telling you, in my life, when I see that, I'm like, all right, guys, it's time to exit. Let's sell the shares. Let's just move on, because at some point when companies are just on the point like, hey, we're the best with this, with that, we don't need to improve, take it or live it, that kind of attitude, it's time to go. It's like,
how can they fix it? How can they fix Ethereum?
They can't. You have to make Ethereum 2.0 6 years later, 5 years later.
But how do they get around the problem that they destroy the value of Ethereum, which people have put their life savings into? When Main Street invested in Ethereum, it broke Ethereum.
Yeah.
It did, because it didn't scale, and because they knew it didn't scale, and they got popular too quick. People rushed in and stuffed money into places it didn't belong, and that's what causes the malinvestment that leads to failure in technology. Why do you think a whole freaking new tech firm that's going to be worth $1 billion, the people who founded it, they get funded in like Series A and stuff like that for like $2 million. $2 million. That's like how much they spent on their lunch in a week if they were like eating cheap, that they could have put into Hex, and now they have $2 million, not inventing an entire company that's going to change the world. So like literally there's so much overinvestment in crypto. Ethereum grew too fast, and now it's a security racket where they can't get out from the miners and they can't get out from the Main Street investors. And so they're just stalling, like you guys said.
And to quote Richard, to some other extent, it's poor design intention, because some of it could have been avoided. You just, again, you got to stop playing checkers and playing chess. Fast, get to the people. You don't think about the long term. You just launching idea, move fast, break things. But there's certain things, design intention, that you can't just do move fast, break things, because then you get stuck in a situation that you cannot get out of. And that's what happens to them due to those bad design intention, because you have to think as if you're going to be massively successful in the future. The same one we talk about security, right? People say, oh, wow, you're spending $100 for a wallet. That's crazy. But they don't fucking get it. Like, no, we believe you're going to be holding millions of dollars in that fucking wallet. That's why we're thinking ahead, begin with the end in mind, give you that level of protection, because we firmly believe that you're going to end up there. If not, why are we even starting to begin with? You know what I mean? Let's just call it a day. So this is where the disconnect is. They never really thought that, oh, we're going to be successful. They just kind of wing it. But then the problem is when you catch fire and you just kind of wing it, and you get to a situation where it's like the thing can't scale and you don't have a way of scaling it, now you're stuck. And worse, you're lying to the people because you're doing the stalling, instead of just being straight up with them, so maybe they'll divest a little bit. No, you just double down. Oh yeah, it's coming next year. Yeah, how many times heard that, right?
A reminder to folks, right? And like a big reminder to folks, and people forget this. Do you see Vitalik or the devs getting on Twitter, YouTube, making streams, complaining about the fees, getting
once
upset,
a month, they
getting
suck.
angry, flipping out, yelling at the miners? No, they're like this, little
That's
meetings and stuff like that, right? You see Richard Hart complaining, saying this, saying that, to the point where he's like, you know what? You don't want to do it? We'll make our own blockchain. We'll do it the right way. We'll do it the correct way. Now, first, he did it just for the Hexicans. Then he thought bigger. Let's copy the whole system state. He did that. So now he just saved Ethereum and the users over there, right? Then he's like, you know what? Let's do another step and another step and another step. And you guys have the nerves to say Richard Hart is going to rug pull or any of this crap. This guy's fixing things, You don't see these other developers and all these other teams and all that stuff fixing it. No, you see Richard Hart and his dev teams putting in the work, and they continue to put in the work. What else do you guys want? Like, I don't get this. Like, crypto needs to wake up, understand, like, our emotions, our egos, it needs to put to the side. Our money, our life savings is invested in this thing. And here's this guy that we made fun of for almost years before he even made Hex. They made fun of Richard Hart. And this guy's fixing crypto, fixing all the mistakes while everybody else is hiding and living the good life. He could be living the good life. He's over here spending holiday time with us, doing all this thing with us, and you guys have the nerves to get mad at this guy or call him a scam, all this stuff. It's ridiculous, man. Like, let's wake up. Let's fix crypto together. Let's get this done. And, you know, make the sacrifice. Like, put where your money, your money mouth is, etc. How you say that. Like, let's get this done, guys. Like, enough is enough, you know? Like, let's go. It's silly.
Oh, that was a great monologue.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
And
Silly,
another
man.
thing too important, people think that, you know, innovation just happened by itself. No, like somebody gotta, you know, for things to get better, somebody gotta go do it. That's another thing. People just, they're so passive. They think that, oh, it's just gonna happen over time. No, it doesn't just happen over time. It happens if minds are trying actively to solve the problem. So after sitting down and waiting, because, you know, we're not victims out here. We're like, well, it's not getting done. We're not being heard. We're literally being dismissed. So, you know what? It's all good. We're just going to go do it ourselves. That's it. And that's the mentality of Hexicans, is to do it yourself. That's why we love the fact we say, you know, no expectation of work of others. We take pride in doing our own work. So we can sit back and say, you know what? Yeah, that shit's going up. I had something to do with it. I was out there. I was helping my community. We're winning as a team. That's it.
Absolutely. I love this
I just
segment.
thought of some game theory I can't even say because it's too good.
Write it down. Don't
We're
forget,
live
man.
right now.
Don't forget, man. Write it down.
Yeah, Maddie, just fun fact. I was just checking Apex.win, right? Just percentage sacrifice so far, it's like over 18%. Primarily pulse sacrifice, and then the pulse sex is basically starting right now. So it's, by the time it's end, it's going to be even more massive. So again, that liquidity is about to be gone. And also, friendly reminder for people, you know, I don't know when we're going to start talking about that segment, but hello, we're still and are, like we told you, full on bear market. It's not looking good, guys. So this is the part where those people that didn't listen, not only they're about to be schooled, but Hexicans are going to continue to get richer and richer, literally funny things as we fix things. And those are just going to get poorer and poorer, and then they're going to regret their decision. So this might be their last chance.
Isn't that beautiful, Karim? It's just beautiful, man. And people don't realize, right? Like, Hexicans could have easily took their funds, left, right? You know, folks came in with a small amount of money, made tremendous amount of money, right? They decided to stick around, help fix crypto, support Richard Hart, support the community, and now we could even do bigger things. You know, it's incredible. Like, where do you really see this? You don't see this anywhere. Like in 2017, I've been in different communities. I've been in XRP. I've done this. I've done that. And you see the hype for like a month or two, and that's it. You don't see 2-3 years length like this while we're being gate kept. It's incredible, man. I'm just here for the ride.
One word to that, Marco. You know, it's something in professional sales we call it culture. Culture is everything. Culture is what creates winners. You know, when you're in the winning culture, like, you could be at the bottom of the pile, but like you feel like you want to win, and all of a sudden you get your own personal best. You know what I mean? You were not the number one guy, but you did your personal best. You're doing better than what you could have said, because the culture is making you one, man, I want to be part of it. I see everybody doing their best. I want to do my best. You know what I mean? It's abundant mindset culture. It's not zero-sum game. You know, when you talk about the 2 months thing, all I think about is like some people that I see, you know, friends, you know, they're even not even afraid to say it. They'll literally just come, shield the thing, it pumps, they dump, they literally just close the laptop, move on. Like, it's just like they don't even care, like no emotion on that thing. They don't care about who got burned, this or that. They'll literally just change the script and move on. It's just so sad when, if you actually have an aptitude, if you actually know how to build community, what if you can come to a community where you can build the house and everything, and you don't have to leave and move on to like a new state, you know what I mean? And be a fugitive in a way, because that's how it sounds to me. You can come in, use your skill, stay here, be great at what you do, because it's sad. There's so many talents out there, great people, but they're just promoting the wrong thing or scams or whatever, because they'll be waiting for that vehicle where they could, you know what, I can actually park my, you know, and set up a life out here.
You know, it's funny to make a real quick comment. I have a lot of friends, right, that they chose not to be in Hex for whatever reason, right? And it's okay. They'll be here, right? They are in these other communities. They do all these other things. And I see them when they're pumping a little bit, they're hype. Oh, my community is doing this. The chat's going crazy. We're excited, stuff like that. When they dump, that's it. They don't have streams to join. They don't have a community to talk to. They don't have things to continue their growth of knowledge, right? When Hex dipped from the top all the way down to 78%, guess what we did? some people complain, somebody with this, but the smart ones that understand this dip and it happens over and over, and we go higher and higher. We have streams, we build our knowledge, we build our wealth, everything. So when we start going back again, we're ready again. We're still here. The difference is we never stop. We don't skip that beat. We don't disappear. Oh, guys, it's game over. Put the lights out.
Not fake.
Tomorrow. Exactly, man. It's real.
Genuine concern, genuine care, and we know you're gonna win. We've done the math, and, and guess what? It gets stronger and stronger every cycle, because guess what? The new people become veteran. They get trained, and then they train the new people, and the next thing you know, it's just like before you even get somewhere, they're already there. Like, you know, like
but that's the key.
Right? Somebody talk crap.
Take care of the new people.
It's already there.
Though. You know, you have the OGs. You have even the people that came in mid dip or whatever. You're just telling folks, listen, you joined at the dip. It happened. We all went through it. I know I went through it. You know, it's okay. It happens. We grab your hand. We teach you along the way. We teach you the system. So while we're recovering from the dip, you're learning the system. You're learning the right way. So when it goes back up, you're ready for it. And that's why I love about this community, man. They never give up on the small guys or just the new guys. It's remarkable, man. And there's nowhere else like this. There's really
and
none.
we got the receipt too. Like literally, that's the beauty about, you know, T-share and T-share preservation. If your time frame is long enough,
it's been buying the dip for you.
I even helped make one of those tops. You know, it's so funny. But as people know the story, this is actually how it will become the shop, because the dip is the amazing buying opportunity, because on the way back up, like we're doing right now. I mean, I can't even get to that section, but talk about charts. It's like by the time we go back to 50 cents, and if you cut that dip and if you started to continue to buy since even the 14, 15, 17 cents, whatever it might be, like you already double on your money on the way to more before staking. It's just amazing. That's why, you know, shout out to Maddie, you know, inviting that sticker guy. Great story. Like, you know, understanding the system, you know, buying through the dip, but understand what he has, understand the community, and then just raise from there. So that's amazing.
I think, yeah, if we can imagine like the Pulse network launching, by the way, I noticed that Steph changed his name on Twitter to 0xsteph.pls.
PLS, baby. Oh, we're
and then I saw somebody else change it too. So I bet
Maddie,
that's going to be a thing
that I can't release right now.
For the cat,
I think you guys caught the
I've got a bonnet.
Yeah.
On my Twitter avatar. And if you guys don't, then you're not real Hexicans. Just saying.
I love it, man.
Just saying.
It's great. That's how cool this community is, right? Richard does something funny, and the thing is, too, the next show, the next day on the show, he worded it again. He's smart marketing. I'm telling you, that guy, he's a genius. But he did it for fun. But he did it for people to talk. You know, phenomenal, man. That was pretty cool. What founder you know does things like this, man? It's cool.
Yeah, like the closest example is Charles Hoskinson, and this
guy holding a chicken. That's what he does.
He promised a bunch of things that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Charles does. Charles takes pictures of chickens he's holding. That's it. Just chickens. You know?
Love it, Maddie.
Maddie, it looks too natural, bro.
Thank you.
Burberry, London.
Thank you very much.
Maddie in the prairie.
The idea here is that the reason people are so excited about Pulse Chain is because in some cases, whether they've invested or they just understand the game theory. And the game theory, Richard keeps giving bits and pieces. I mean, if you remember, he gave up major game theory all the way back when he was on Ivan on Tech, right? For like the second or third or millionth time or whatever. But, you know, that was back in the summer when he was accidentally slipping out, you know, well, maybe not accidentally, but he was like, you know, giving people these bits and pieces of the game theory publicly. And so what we know, if we put all these pieces together, right, is that everybody's going to get a copy of their Ethereum tokens on Pulse, and then they could be incentivized to hold the price up. So whether it's just a derivative play, which occurs when pairs have liquidity, right? Like we saw with, you know, with anything that trades against anything else, like, you know, Ethereum and everything that trades on Ethereum, they move together 10% up, everything goes up 10%. And that's because they're denominated in each other. That's because of Hart's law, because they're bonded by the liquidity in their pairs. And that causes the valuation to occur, because if people can come on either side of an automated market maker and take from either side of the liquidity pool, and there's symmetrical liquidity, then the person who's creating the market is willing to suffer the impermanent loss, and the price moves because it follows the ratio of the two things that are traded with each other or against each other. So you're taking from one side of the equation and you're giving to the other. So Hex USDC, if you want to buy Hex, then you put USDC in, you take out Hex, the Hex becomes more rare, and the person providing liquidity at the end of the day gets to take out less Hex than they put in because they suffered impermanent loss. Now, when people come in to get their free money, will they want to earn the incentive token by bridging the value of their Ethereum token with the value of their Pulse token? Will there be big pools that are incentivized? Like what about what Patrick was asking about and what others have asked about publicly is this, you know, everybody who's providing liquidity now on decentralized exchanges, they're going to get harvested. And so I'm not sure what happens to those tokens other than they are fixing the ratios, but then are those tokens being used to bridge liquidity, to create liquidity pools, to incentivize people to bring value over from Ethereum? Once those gates open up, if the price of things on Pulse is more than what the original token was, that's going to break a lot of people's minds. And they're going to FOMO everything they can, especially if it's a bear market, especially if somebody starts dumping down the price of Ethereum, which is going to take the price of everything else down with it. And they start buying Pulse or bridging into Pulse. What that's going to do is it's going to freak everybody out, herd mentality. Everybody's going to come claim their free money. They're going to dump stuff on the Ethereum side, which they hate the fees they always have. The only reason they care enough to be with the fees is because they have value there. What was it that somebody said on the BitBoy show this week with Richard was like, oh, everybody made so much money on Ethereum. That's why I like pointless NFTs on Ethereum. Well, once that money gets taken away, then people aren't going to be loyal to Ethereum as much anymore. And so they're going to be loyal to whatever, to wherever the value is at that time. And so that's why I think that this is such a clever game theory, because it's using freemium, but possibly vampire attacking, cloning the value over, incentivizing people to do the work themselves to move the value over. And once you see something more valuable on the side that works better, that has a better community, people are going to end up dumping their money into Hex at the end of the day. Yeah, and that's going to further make it so people don't have to sell Pulse, so people can create more liquidity to bridge in more from Ethereum and steal the whole show. What do you guys think?
You know what gets me most excited about this, Maddie, is all the traders that will come over this side once they find out about Pulse and Pulse X. Because all these guys, they're gonna trigger the burning feature of both units, right? How remarkable that's gonna be. That's gonna be interesting.
Because Manny, the key here when you unpackage all this, because it's very important what you just said, is when we go back to the fundamentals, right? Quick math. First thing first, those three tokens coming out, the simple fact that they are deflationary by definition already make them better than 99.9% of the coins out there, because there is almost, again, even Bitcoin's not deflationary, right? It's one of the only thing out there that is truly, when we say deflationary, right? Less coin in the future than it is today. Not the fancy fake definition that, oh yeah, but the supply has been cut in half. No, we talk about real deflation. That's number one. Number two, the bear market has been here and is here in strength. And make no mistake, yeah, we get a little bounce, but we know where this is going on the go forward. So, which further emphasize what Maddie just said, because a lot of the stuff that dominated in Ethereum, when Ethereum get another haircut, 50%, holy shit. I am telling you, not only the gas price goes down a little bit also, but all those other shit coins or NFT that was highly valued because, again, they were transferring Ethereum, all of a sudden they get their haircut too. All of a sudden it's going to create pandemonium, panic left and right. And then we're going to be like the Ark of Noah, you know what I mean? Literally, because the timing is what makes it so perfect. As everything just start to lose value over there, it has nothing to do with us. I'm telling you, when bear market comes, they all just get their haircut. And it's worse because when the bear market is here, what ends up happening is because everybody trying to exit at the same time, gas fee goes through the roof. They can't even all exit. They get even more burn. At some point, what they're going to do, they're just going to give.
Kareem rug pulled.
There must have been
Karim, come back.
there must have been some very disgruntled altcoin holders on Ethereum that intervened.
Man, that guy, do whatever you take.
Connection. Yeah, he is right though. The moment Ethereum has a big drop in price, those ERC20 coins just get destroyed. I mean, most of the network with the ERC20s has already been getting very destroyed over the last half a year or so.
I got kicked out.
They after you, bro. They after
Your
you, man.
screen was freezing, so I thought I could kick just your screen.
Oh my God.
But it kicked your screen and it kicked you, which were separate boxes. So now we know StreamYard is
all right,
messing up. But
too
sorry
much
about that.
truth. But yeah, can I just finish
Continue.
my thought real quick?
Of course.
Please, you're not freezing anymore.
So, timing again, bear market, which is here. Those other half are going to be reducing in value. This is the beauty about the fact that bonding liquidity and how we shelter, because we have the USDC. Pulse chain is going to be sheltered also. We're not going to be tied to that shenanigan of Ethereum. And this is one of the beauty also of the bridge coming later. So we get to set up the parity, we get to do the harvesting, so that when Ethereum started getting shenanigans, we're still the shining city on the hill. And then as they start to lose value, and then the gas fee goes insane again because everybody trying to exit the small door of the club at the same time, they're just going to start just give up on this thing. Let me just get my free copy over there. I'll save money on the gas. And then they'll just start transferring their funds over, realizing that not only I got the other half for free, so impermanent loss is not as bad because I literally get the other stuff for free, but then I get to pump my own back, which is going to be, for those who are familiar with traditional stocks, kind of like, when you see the Tesla stock split, when you're about to get a multiple for free, you're incentivized to pump the price up because your wealth just amplify like that, because you get to support the value of the thing that you get for free, and you get to exit from the location that is bad. So all those things combined is what makes it so good. It's not just the game theory. It's not just the fact that the tokens are deflationary, which inherently means they hold their value over time because there's less and less, but also the fact that the timing of the bear market, those people being, washed out, and we have the scalability factor, which is the one of the ethos of why we even started Pulse Chain to begin with. When you mesh all that together, it's going to be game over. Plus, you got Hexicans, which are champions, diamond handers. We know how to hold price up, and we're going to be in there on Pulse Chain, and we're already rich on Hex. We don't even need to sell. We just keep holding the price up because, like Richard said, we're here for the glory at this point. So when you combine all these things, it's just game over. Like, see you later, bye-bye. We're just going to pass on the market cap. That's just, when that day happens, oh my God, we're going to shut down Twitter. We're going to 2022 is going to be a great year. So
hey, Wave 3, when Karim got cut off, you were saying something too before. You want to jump back on that?
Yeah, so for the coins that are coupled to Ethereum, I mean, so most of those coins, most of the ERC20s have been getting absolutely destroyed over the last half a year or so, and that was while Ethereum made a new high on the price chart. So there's already a lot of ERC20s on Ethereum that started their bear markets basically right after the flash crash this past May, and a lot of them just didn't even recover when there was that bounce on ETH where it got back temporarily above $4,000. And then there's already macro charts that are showing death of the altcoin index relative to the valuation on the Hex price chart. So I don't see why that would be. It's just not going to be any different with Pulse or Pulse X with the way the game theory is set up, because you have to think, right? Like, Hex was able to achieve the merits of where it is today off the game theory using Ethereum as the consensus network. But now that there's a separate consensus network now specifically for the Hex and Pulse community. Now there's the outreach and just what the game theory, everything just ends up exploding. So I think a lot of people are just sort of underestimating how powerful it is that now both the Hex and Pulse community have basically, it's almost like a canvas of ideas now that are part of a very large community that are deploying it on Pulse chain. And then a lot of those ideas are also going to be beneficial to supporting the growth of the network itself. I mean, it's already off to a good start. Obviously, like it just scales much better. There's sort of the I would say more of the engineering skill set that Richard has when it comes to just sort of analyzing objectively what's actually necessary if you want to have a distributed ledger that just offers far more usability with lower fees. So and that's a big skill set. Like I've worked in engineering for long enough to see those with a more practical mindset versus those that are very smart but theoretical, which you have on the Ethereum side, but it's like it doesn't apply to like the reality that the world just on a day-to-day basis operates on. So there's a lot of merit to what's being built now on Pulse Chain. And if you take a look, basically so there's total 3. That's the altcoin index on TradingView. If you do a ratio of total 3 divided by hex to USD, you will see a very bad downtrend resistance for altcoins in the market, and it just keeps getting bounced down further and further and further. And the vast majority of that index is going to die. It is going to die. It's you can see it on the chart. It's going to die versus hex. So this is just what happens. You go through these really big moves in the market, and not every most coins will end up failing. That's the reality of it. And you see those coins failing relative to when they're measured to a benchmark like hex that had really good price performance. The vast majority of the coins are just they're not going to be able to ever come back after the next bear wave hits. So if you're watching these streams, if you've watched the Hex conference, if you're at least getting familiar with like the Hex and Pulse community, this is a huge opportunity. It's a huge opportunity because even if you measure the current, even if you assume, okay, so let's say Pulse X or even Pulse Chain. So there was about 670 million that was sacrificed prior to the OA, I believe was sort of a ballpark estimate there.
Yeah.
So let's just say you get about, let's just say for this thought experiment, even if the market cap was to sort of resemble, not including the OA supply, about, let's just say close to $1 billion, BSC still did a 74x relative to that same benchmark. And that's Binance Smart Chain, which doesn't even have good devs. Like, let's be realistic. Like, there's no way Binance Smart Chain is going to be able to compete.
Not even deflation. It's not a deflation.
Yeah, it has shitty token. Yeah, exactly. It's not not as good.
Cow.
So, and it goes back to what the stats Maddie was showing earlier. Like, you see other networks that have had really good price performance, and there was even one on the list that basically completely empty, that still did a 14x, and that's not even an issue with Pulse Chain. Like, Pulse Chain has a lot more, way better game theory, so it's going to have better price performance.
That's how much Bitcoin does every 4 to 8 years. Like, that's pretty good. I like this comment too. Like, to the mods out there, don't ban people that disagree with us. And I don't think you did. So I'm just educating you ahead of time. Like, if somebody's being disrespectful, if they're super disrespectful, you can ban them. If they're moderately disrespectful, warn them. For this can come through all day. If Richard Hart is annoyed with the question of like when launch, I think 800+ million deserves more than I don't know answer. I'm sorry. I thought we were sacrificing here. That means no expectations. That means it's not a security. That means it can do way better than all of these other promise coins that the government can lord over, with their regulatory hammer. Not that even really happens. So there's a lot of value, I think, in like understanding that the code, like not all the code is done. And so like, what do you want him to lie to you? Because I'm sorry, I don't want my founder to lie to me. And if he doesn't know, then he doesn't know. If he knows when it's going to come out, he's going to tell us. And if you're trying to pull your liquidity from other places and that's why you're complaining, then you're selfish, because that doesn't help the whole ecosystem. It only helps you trying to get rich off of these petty fees for providing liquidity in the first place, whenever you could be staking Hex.
And here's the funny thing, Maddie, actually, to even answer the question directly, it's actually a proof that this gentleman, whoever it is actually not listening and not paying attention, because actually Richard's been giving better information, in my opinion, than giving an exact time. Because again, software.
He broke it up.
Yeah, I have to do the same thing. You know, figure out people asking for a V2 or whatever. He tells you all the critical things you need to see in order for the thing to launch. And then most things are moving, you know, in the right direction. You need to see the go.hex.com, right? We saw the bridge, he posted it. Now, actually, you can go on the link, postchain.com, and you can click. Now you can, you know, one button, you can connect to the testnet. Before you had to go do all kinds of stuff on your own. So you already know what the schematics are, what the steps are. This needs to come, then this needs to come, then this needs to come, and then we'll be ready to go. So that's actually a better way to set proper expectation instead of giving an actual quote unquote date, because it doesn't mean anything, because we got to make sure all the other stuffs are ready as well. So knowing that should already let you know to be prepared. The fact even that the sacrifice phase is exactly 47 days should kind of already give you a kind of hint, because it's right around that, you know, mid towards end of February, right? Because February is a shorter month. That kind of already kind of give you a hint. And from previous stream, he has also said, usually when the sacrifice is done, usually 2 weeks later, mainnet, right? So you already have plenty of data. The problem is this guy is not listening. He's not paying attention. Stuff probably comes here and comes there. He's probably a trader. You know, I don't know the guy, but all people just talk about the date. You're trying to make a buy the rumor, sell the news event, when it's like, no, we don't need you here. You don't even want to try to use the pulse chain. You probably just here to swing trade and move on. So understand what's being given and actually pay attention, not just say what date, like, no.
Hey, Maddie, can I jump on what Wave 3 was saying earlier? And I would like your input on this, because you're an expert when it comes to emotions and, you know, the mental thoughtness of folks and stuff like that. You know, folks say that Pulse Chain and PulseX will have no utility, no users and stuff like that. Understand this, and I think I don't hear that people speak about this much. We're in a bear market, and it's gonna get harder and it's gonna get worse. Okay, when folks can't do anything, can't transact, can't buy, can't sell, stuff like that, they're gonna be desperate, they're gonna be depressed, etc. But once they find out there's something called Pulse Chain there, and the fees is hardly anything, and they got a free bag to go play with, what do you think they're gonna do when they're lonely for a few months, be able to do nothing? They're going to play with Pulse Chain. They're going to play with PulseX and stuff like that, and probably PHEX and all that, right? To the point they're gonna love it. They're gonna learn over time, wow, this thing is still cheap. It's been 6 months already. It's been 3 months while they're in the bear market with the regular market, and they're gonna fall in love with this. Then what are you gonna do when the market recovers and starts to bounce again? You think they're gonna leave to Ethereum side and deal with all that crap and all that bullshit again? Nah, they're gonna stay with our ecosystem. Because why? Richard Hart treat them right. You got free stuff. He kept his word. The thing is working. It is cheap. It is fast. It is secure, right? And not only that, you have your freedom. You get to do what the hell you want. And they're gonna learn the community. They're gonna follow the community, and it's just gonna grow. They ain't gonna go nowhere. So to say that that has no use case or is hardly gonna have users, you're being delusional, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, so the I like what you're saying there. The bear market would fix the ETH fees,
barely,
right? So that's a risk, right? And we don't have to be all moon boy like cultish, like, you know, the longer that it takes for Pulse and PulseX to come out, like the more that we're gonna see less of a use case for people coming over from fees. But I believe the greater game theory is even better. It doesn't matter if people are struggling with fees or not, because at the end of the day, people are going to be able to earn. It's going to be the largest yield farming thing that's ever happened in the world. It's going to be the largest airdrop that ever happened in the world. It's going to be like, you know, and there are these game mechanics that people in Ethereum they haven't thought of. You know, Richard, he witnessed Uniswap. Like, he made them popular. Then they put out a token. They duct taped it on, and Richard could have dropped something. He could have created the coin then. He could have created it before the code was done. He could have sold it to you, exit scammed, and let it still go up in value, right? So the fact that he's waiting now on code that already exists but needs to be tweaked in order to have a synchronization with all these other pieces that are being launched in just the right way, like, that's what you should pay attention to. That's another reason why I like Richard Hart projects, is because he doesn't lie about timelines. He doesn't make promises that he can't keep. And when he says he's going to do something, he does it. He does it right. The code is there, done by the time, the trading starts. And the people who are trading don't do as well as the people who were believers, who wanted to become new whales, who wanted to do the deep dive, to trust him and to understand the mechanics here. It would be way easier for him to like spend all of his billions of dollars of Bitcoin and Ethereum to like educate you and like to create commercials and campaigns, but he's letting people learn about it who are out there learning on their own. He's not paying for advertising. So you have to advertise to yourself. Man.
And actually, Matty, speaking of which, this is where it gets fun, right? Again, talking about the bear market. Let's talk about that for a second. So fun fact for people when they talk, and I got a chart I want to show because this is coin game after all. Rule number 1, quick maths. Yes, the bear market is going to fix fee. But guess what? If you got no money because you got wrecked, what does that even matter? You don't have any money to transact anyway. You got fucking wrecked. When we tell people, hey, protect your value, when I send my tweets and say, hey, look out for that. Because not only I don't want you to lose your hex, but because I know some of you guys and some people sometimes play with the shit coins or whatever. Hey, you might get a haircut, but then meanwhile, hex is getting more and more expensive. Just by standing still, consistent when everything crash, with whatever's left, you're going to be able to buy less hex. On top of that, share rate constantly goes up. Shout out to Melv Tony. He put it in the chat earlier. Guys, T-share is at 220,223 or something like that. It went up 200 plus points like this in a matter of just like a week? Not even. Like this thing is moving. So it's just like you snooze, you lose. And sometimes the sad reality, by the time you fully realize what we told you, not only you're wrecked, but even the fee being fixed, it doesn't matter. You got no more money. You're done. So now going back to here, this fun thing that we should do all the time, I think it needs a refresher. Let me share my screen. We're going to go to CryptoQuant here because some people need a friendly reminder. They don't even understand how bad it is. If you thought Bitcoin was starting to crash, you haven't seen anything yet. Mine is going to blow you away. Update.
Matty loves this stuff.
Oh, hell yeah. Let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see it?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Guys, this is unreal.
We haven't seen this
live on Coin Game. All-time low. You don't make this shit up. All-time low. Bitcoin premium negative 21.5%. You can't make this shit up. Look, purple line. They have
say it louder. It's louder.
Yeah, they literally revamped the website so nice and fresh. Like the purple line here is, well, I mean, dark blue is the premium, and it has never been this negative. It's insane. So for people who are new watching, like Richard said it yesterday on the stream when he was on the Bitboard, he said it fast, but some people didn't cut that. But there's people preferring to buy fake Bitcoin, rightfully so. If you can buy for 21% less, right? AKA, $32,000, because that's what it means. Quick math. When you're roughly at 40K, and then you get a negative 21% premium, then you're looking at literally buying Bitcoin at 32K. So just like we told you guys way back when here, and then we saw this. So we're right on the verge. Don't get it confused. This is just a little bounce because he went down a lot. We'll get a little relief rally, but the trend is clear. The trend is down. And then what do you think is going to happen to Ethereum? Well, guess what? Ethereum is going to follow suit because if Bitcoin gets spanked, it's going to get spanked too. So let me pull up here on the data. It's below the 200 moving average. It's a matter of time when it's going to probably do something like similar to Bitcoin, do a little relief rally. But then if the trap door opens, it's going to be insane. All the thing too, regular markets, people don't fucking pay attention. Those fools out there have no fucking clue. Tomorrow is a big day. Inflation numbers are coming out. And guys, it's bad. When I say it's bad, it's not only Fed's raising rates, but on top of that, they might need to raise it even faster. Let me show you here. US 10-year Treasury. Man. Look at this. Look at this spike. Insane. You could look at this. If you just look at a chart of crypto, you'll be thinking this shit is in a bull market. Right? Look at this. This is interest rate yield. Not too long ago was here. We're talking about trillions of dollar asset. When it is moving like this, that's massive.
That was what, in 2 weeks almost, maybe less.
Yeah. What you just see here, this is a daily chart. This is what created also the massive liquidation of Ethereum. People don't pay attention because the rate just spiked up because they're like, oh my God, we need to taper. And then risk on asset goes first, and crypto they're overly, and this is what created a sell-off. But then when you look on the weekly chart too, the trend is clear. This thing wants to go. And the thing is, and you see the DMI already crossed blue on the weekly charts. No joke. Everybody knows DMI don't play, especially on the high time frame. So you combine this, you combine inflation numbers coming tomorrow, most likely bad, Wednesday. That's going to set the tone for the week. Omicron, those are the garbage. They're playing the narrative right now. So don't get it twisted. This is just getting started. Just getting started. If you look at the DXY, dollar index, still doing the W. And remember, I told you guys many times, by the time it gets to, we almost touched it, but we came back. When it crossed 97, it's a wrap. Full-on bear market. We're kind of already there. It did a little cool off, but it's getting ready again to test. Because again, 2017, 2018, bull run, we go down. When this thing starts to rise right around here, bear market, and it's sustained. Same thing here. And the Federal Reserve has actually hinted that not only they're going to taper, but they might taper even faster than before. So moving into 2022, this thing doesn't look like it wants to go down anytime soon. And that's on the weekly chart. So understand what's happening, understand what's to come, because it's another different situation when you got Ethereum over here. And let's say that moving average break, which is right around the 3,000 zone, which shows you here on the daily chart too, that we're already below the 200 moving average. But by the end of the month, I wouldn't be surprised if we break below this. And if we break below this, guys, there's nothing below. Like, this shit is about, again, DMI don't play. Weekly chart. Look, this was the bull run. Quick math from $200. We ran. Blue was always above orange. Oh, and again, I apologize for the new viewers. Blue means buying pressure. Orange is selling pressure. This is my favorite indicator, DMI, directional moving indicator. This is how you get to spot what the market makers are doing. This is what tells you what's the flow of money. They sold the top here. Shout out to Vitalik. Some bullshit. Look at that spike. Orange. And then this is just distribution phase. To the point where now there's no more buying. People can't afford to transact. Fees are insane. Money is running out. No more free money. Federal Reserve is about to close the thing. And guess what? DMI cross here on the weekly chart. Literally just last week. What does that tell you? Party's over. Let me zoom back out. What happened here? When the DMI finally crossed right around here. For the new viewers, they need to know this. This is a perfect time. Again, this is full Kwang gang, old school. We're probably going to be here for 4 hours because it matters. This is how a lot of the viewers watch right now. They became multimillionaires. Little things like that. Watch this. Right around here, which is when the DMI crossed orange. Weekly chart. You don't fuck around with the weekly chart. This is not like your 30-minute candle garbage. From here, full-on bear market, negative 81, 82%. Insane. Let me be nice. Let me just put it to here. Negative 60%. Which means, you heard it here first, the alarm bell has already been signaled. Now, if you're wise, you get your hex, you get your T-share, you sit tight, you sacrifice, you wait for pulse chain. If you're not smart, when the haircut comes, and let me be nice, let me show you again, because it's coming. Make no mistake, it's coming. I take it from where we are, negative 60%. Where are we? Let's look at it for fun.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. 1,200, 1,300. And then if I go full on, 80%.
And you're being generous too.
I'm being nice. Look, you can't make this shit up. Look. You see the confluence right here? 600, right? Look, it's right around here. Previous pump. Right around this. Return to the mean because the chart is not showing. Web3, you know what I'm talking about. I used to have a line here that was just showing kind of like on the Bitcoin chart. And then rising wedge. Imagine a massive rising wedge on the weekly chart. And this breaks. Return to the previous zone right here. Might get a little pit. Yep. Yeah. Might get a little pit stop here, and then full on bear market a year from now. You're looking at here. I mean, you can't make this shit up.
Yeah, the chart on Ethereum too. The the candle structure looks fairly similar to the 2017 blow off top. Just less of a run up. It's less extreme of a run up. Just because the market size is bigger around Ethereum, but it's a pretty nasty fractal right now. And plus the 20-week moving average blew out on Ethereum's chart. So it's 600. Yep.
Most people, they don't zoom out. They just look at day to day. Because when you look on a day to day, right, or even this, oh my God, big dump, look, a lot of selling pressure. Okay, cool. Buying might come back. Yeah, that's cute. But don't confuse a relief rally
Right.
maybe kiss this thing over here, you're still
Mhm.
bearish. You're still below the 200 moving
I
average.
agree.
Like right
Yeah.
now, we could pump to 3,500 almost and still be bearish. That's what people don't
Mhm.
understand. It just lets the moving average catch up because this was such a massive dump. And again, for the new viewers, they have no clue. Let me show you. It's because of this guy right here. Because this guy decided to just spike up, which is interest rate. All those motherfuckers borrowing cheap money. Federal said, nah, pull in liquidity. Look at the reverse repo. Wells talks about it all the time. This is what the real plumbing. They're literally closing the doors. And you heard it here first. No, it's going to go back to 4K. Next thing you know, you could wake up a month from now, Ethereum is 2,500. And then 6 months from now, it could be 2K or less. Because this is why we tell people to pay attention. And again, that's why that thing is my favorite indicator. And again, on the weekly chart, to really paint the picture, we've been bullish all along, meaning buying was above selling, even all this dancing. But for the first time in a long time, guys, the last time this cross happened, we were here. Let me get rid of this. This is like 2020. That's insane. That's insane. On the weekly chart, the last time the DMI was negative on Ethereum was literally in 2020, April, right after the COVID dip. That's how bad it is. And now we're entering this zone again. Market makers are telling you, all right, guys, time to cash out. The plebs have no clue. We're going to take them for a spin, just like we did here. Bull market, more than a year long. See? And the moment orange crossed sustainably, it was a wrap. Game over.
Yeah.
And now the game is about to be over. Watch out below. 200 moving average on the weekly chart is way down here. Way down here. So people don't understand how this thing could just, if it breaks and the panic kicks in and you're stuck in your stupid NFT and whatever and you can't
It can
exit.
happen like this. It can happen really quick.
Really quick. And it's too late. You can't pay the gas fee. The dump happens in 30 minutes, 1 hour candle. It's all right. The loss is locked in. You can't do anything about it.
Then
You know what I mean?
exchanges starts crashing, Coinbase starts freezing, and you can't exit out.
Yeah, all of that. Oh, yeah.
Don't
Thanks for
forget
reminding.
that.
All of
Don't
them.
forget that.
They will all freeze. And to look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin already started. Guys, can't make this shit up. Ethereum is just what Richard say all the time, right? What is it? 27-day delay or whatever. It's just, it hits Bitcoin first, then it gets dragged. I just told you, Bitcoin premium. Let me show you again. Let's go back to school. Negative 21%. All-time fucking low.
What does that mean?
That means that people are buying fake Bitcoin right now for $33,000 on big money, like on GBTC. So the trust. That means also in simple English, there's no.
So people are so let me just back that up. So people are paying less for the fake Bitcoin that the this investment trust is holding, but they're not paying. But the retailer who's holding fake Bitcoin on Coinbase is paying 21% more.
Yes, that's also true because he's also buying fake Bitcoin on Coinbase. That's true, Maddie. Good point. Yeah. So basically, you're being played right now. They're buying at 21% discount and you're buying retail price right now. And it's so stupid because they can literally just buy the fake for 21% less and then dump it on the market, the real one. So basically kind of like an arbitrage,
well,
right?
Is there a holding period for that? Or
no, man, this is what you do. Imagine this.
They never sell, or...
for you. Let's say you already have Bitcoin, okay, that you're holding, and you have so much money and you don't really care about Bitcoin. You don't care about decentralization. You're not worried about that too much. You just want to make money. So this is the arbitrage play. At the same time, simultaneously, you buy the GBTC and you dump the real Bitcoin that you have on the market spot. You can't fail. It's automatic money. Literally. Let me say it again. You dump the Bitcoin that you have now. You create panic. And by the way, it's fascinating because you can dump
Doesn't Trace Mayer do that at the beginning of the year?
Well, they like
to do. Known for doing
by the way,
that?
Marco, you're
gonna
talk
about that.
Get ready for the next round of FUD and bullshit. The Chinese New Year in February. Get ready. That's coming. They're going, oh yeah, they're taking profit. Every year they recycle that old bullshit narrative. So it's coming. So this is what they do. They buy the fake one because for them it's just about money, whether they own Bitcoin real or not. They don't care. It's about making money. You literally instantaneously sell on market at 42, whatever, and then you buy back the garbage version, but still exposure at the lower price. People are confusing this little rally as, oh my God, we're going back up. No, there is fucking Fed number coming tomorrow. It's another buy the rumor, sell the news. They're pumping the price. You come in, and then tomorrow, when the bad news come in, you might see a massive red candle, but it's too late because you don't pay attention on the other stuff. You only get in your little bubble. You don't understand what's going around you because the other stuff matters even more because Bitcoin is so over leveraged because they buy it with all this fake money. So that's why everything is connected. That's why I have to come on those sites because I can care less about this garbage because I own Hex. But the thing is, I have to know what's going on here because it affects everything else. That's why everything is connected. So long story short, they don't even incentivize to buy real Bitcoin because they can buy the fake for 21% discount and then keep slowly dumping the price down, create panic, people get wrecked. But they got to do it slowly because the liquidity is not that good. You know what I mean? I mean, you saw how fast Bitcoin went down, right? So they're going to do it a small demolition. Now let's go back to the chart here just for fun. Same thing. Look, number one, insane. Yep. Look, DMI cross already. Bang, bang.
I want to discount on Hex, man.
Look at this. Oh, Hex is so beautiful. It's going through the comparison. Look at this. Peak, cross, bear market. Can't make this shit up. Same thing here. Cross. Now we're here. And look, we're already below on the weekly chart, the 50 MA already. Let's look at the GBTC premium. Can't make this shit up. It's right around here right now. They're buying it at 34K-ish, right around my zone. You see this zone? That was the previous zone we had before. So big money is already buying cheap Bitcoin in the zone right now. So at any time, they can just send that bitch down just to close the premium because it's also bad for them when the premium is too bad. But for people who are new watching, understand something. The game has changed. There's more selling than buying pressure. So I highly suggest you swap that Bitcoin for a better asset that's going to be here that has a tendency to do very, very well in the bear market, hex.com, right? Sacrifice if you want to sacrifice some of that while you still retain the fucking value. Because when he gets the haircut, bro, forget about it. And then it's going to complete the McDonald pattern that we've been joking about. Look, M, right? Boom, boom, and then and somebody could argue, Web3, help me on this. This is like a head and shoulder right here. Let me see.
It's almost like Michael Saylor's trying to warn the world with his
the shoulder. I think it would play out similar to where you mentioned on the ETH chart, where it hits around 34 to 3,500, and then that could be another zone where market makers already have sell orders set to try to bump the price up a little bit. But yeah, it's a nasty chart, and in bear markets, that's why you don't want to hold. If you're holding ERC20 coins on Ethereum, you do not want to hold altcoins in a bear market. They get absolutely annihilated. So, to me, you only have basically if you're, that's the big separation, right? Is like the liquidity pool in Hex is predominantly USDC. It's its own market. It does not have this nasty reflexivity to what Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing, and because it doesn't have that, it's basically on its own. Just think of it as just think of it honestly as a life raft. You do not want. I'm just telling you right now. I saw what happened I got to experience with my eyes what happens to altcoins back in 2017, and it is like it's like an extinction event that happens in the market. Like it is. You do not. I'm suggesting right now, like you do not want to get stuck with alts because a lot of them won't recover in the next cycle, and they'll get displaced by new coins in the market. And then by then, Hex, PulseX will have already solidified dominant position in the ranks. And that's why, even with where we are, like there's still a huge opportunity to get to get your exposure so that you're prepared, so that when this does happen,
absolutely
you're not
because
off guard.
your coins are so worth something right now when in the future they'll be worth way less. You thought 25 cents Hex was expensive. Wait until your value of your other shit coins go down 50%. Because it's a force multiplier. That's what they need to understand. When we say move out a function of a square, everybody like to talk about the good part when the price goes up. The same way we used to buy Ethereum for $200 and we switched for Hex, and then when Ethereum pump, we pump. The opposite works too. When Ethereum goes back down, all those inflated shit coins that didn't really have any value, but they were bonded by Ethereum price, right? They had all this inflated value. Then reality sits in, and then they go back crazy. So if Ethereum goes down 15-20%, those things are going to start going down 40-50% because I want to
be very clear. Karim correctly called this all using the DMI indicator and educating people about this a year ago. That's when I sold my Bitcoin. That's when I sold my GBTC. That's when I, was buying into Hex at 7/10 of a penny. And that's when Karim was saying the exact same thing he's saying today. So this isn't financial advice, but hit the like and subscribe button or get out. And give this man the respect that he deserves.
Absolutely.
Which I think everybody
like we always say,
respects
it's
you,
not financial advice, it's mathematical advice. And like I said on my tweet, this is literally free opium, but also another thing, we have the receipts, guys. You can't make this shit up. Look at here too. Look. DMI cross. Maddie, remember we're literally talking about it on stream. This one too. And the next day, literally the next day, this happened. DMI cross, game over. So, but I want people to really understand that I just genuinely want people to preserve their value. Sometime in investing, it's not so much about getting the 100x or the 1000x, because those are rare. I got to give that to people. You got to be also a little bit lucky, but do your research. But the real successful investors are the one, like Web3 said, you survive the bear market so you can thrive. You preserve the value. Some of you guys, you may be new to Hex right now. It's cool. Like, I want to make something clear. You cannot buy Hex. I don't care. I want you to preserve your value. I see something that's bad. I want to share with the world, because I don't want you to become the exit liquidity of those people, because those people, they won't tell you the full story. Some of those furus, they got no clue. Those are the crypto people, because they don't look at the other stuff, the dollar, what's going on in the real world. So they wouldn't be able to tell you. And the reason why they love blow off top is because they want to dump on your fucking head first and then tell you later, oh, we're in the bear market. Like even right now, some of them have sold, Maddie. I'm telling you, some of them have already sold, but they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be, I don't want to cause the bear market.
See it in the chart.
Yeah, we can see it in the charts, all in there, because that's why this is my favorite indicator. You can manipulate the price, but you cannot manipulate who's really buying and who's really selling. And it's a very powerful indicator on the bigger time frame, because it's never wrong on the bigger time frame. And we had the bull run, then the bull run kind of ended. We got a little fake out here, trying to go back up, and then it got rejected. And this one, this is the wrap. The same way here, trying to do it again, fake out. And then when he stayed here, just slow death, because there's no more intensity. That's why the red goes down. Like it might switch a little bit, buy sell, but there's no real volume. That's why red started to cool off. Here, when they were buying, it was buying with violence. That's why red went up like this. Like this is serious money coming in. They already got in. They did their distribution. They dump. They take you for another spin, and then they're dumping now. And now the juice is literally living the street. So you got to make sure that you protect yourself so you don't become the exit liquidity. Another thing too, this is called the Keltner channel, which is really good. Usually when you're above it or in the middle, it's good. The moment it crosses to the lower bound, and like here, it's basically saying it has to go test another one. And now we broke this. Another thing nobody's talking about, right? Elephant in the room. Look at that. This is the fucking death cross again, coming faster than expected. I thought it would take next week, but because of this dump, look at the sharpness of this thing. Like it's not going to get avoided. It's going to get hit. Then you're going to get the little death rally we always do. Like here, look at this. We got a little death rally, fake out. The cross still happened, and then pandemonium. But this one is going to be more severe, because now Plan B is no longer fucking here to save your ass with that lie about the 100K Bitcoin. Reality is about to set in. So if you're fucking smart, shout out to you. You watch Porn Game. You got free opium. Save your ass while you still can. Another really cool line that I like to put, if you see here, when I zoom out, this is kind of like my base, because I remember when Wells and I, we caught the Wyckoff distribution pattern, which was right around here. We saw this. I put this trend line because it was where the execution of that pattern started. They created a fake pump right here, and then they did their thing, and then they drop it here. When I crossed this, I was like, the wrap. Fast forward here, that long-term support, see, got dropped here, massive dump, then came back up. Here, we lost it again. Literally, the moment we lost it, look how fast the dump happened. If this doesn't get retaken, which is not happening anytime soon, it's a wrap. This one too, long-term support from the top. We're below that. So right now, it's clearly saying, watch out below. Death cross coming this weekend. More bad news. Weekly chart is already telling you what's going on. So prepare yourself. Save yourself. Get some Hex if you're smart, because we technically do very well in the bear market. If not, dude, even if you just, hey, go to USDC, the dump happens and then you buy back later. You know what I mean? More Bitcoin for you if you like it so much. But understand what's happening. And one more time, the premium is at an all-time low, negative 21.6. You can't make this shit up. This is Coin Game. This is not an opinion. This is a fact. Get your subscription. If you don't believe me, CryptoQuant.com. They're really, really cool. They have amazing data. This is on-chain data too, metrics. They're tracking GBTC. They're tracking their wallet. They're tracking all they're doing. And those motherfuckers are selling Bitcoin. Make no mistake about it. You know what I mean? Let me go show you the other one, Maddie, my favorite chart. Remember? Look at this. This is the holding of GBTC since inception. For the new people watching, since
like
that top, right around here, forever. More than almost a year in March. Only down, guys.
Yeah, they're selling little by little. You could tell.
Only that. This is how you do an exit liquidity with the market maker, slowly but surely. When the biggest holder of Bitcoin is not buying but selling, that should tell you what the fuck. This is it's like, imagine like a massive bearish divergence.
That's horrible, man.
With the double top. This is the famous 6% Richard was talking about from the top and then send it back. So please be advised. Wave 3 comments, please.
Yeah, these are really good charts to look at, and yeah, you could very clearly see it. Grayscale there hasn't been any significant inflows from the investors that really push the market to higher levels for Bitcoin and ETH. So even though I would say just be careful if you're looking at other assets in the market, because when you have sort of this ranging market before a big down draw, you can have reflexivity go into like other coins that you can actually have little mini bubbles that basically happen before you have like a huge sell-off. So don't confuse like what other chains or whatever are doing during this stage. When you don't see Bitcoin and ETH pushing to new highs, then all that's happening is the money is just changing hands in the market, and then eventually that does not work anymore unless you have new capital that begins to enter and support the price levels off Bitcoin and ETH. So yeah, this is definitely very, very concerning. I would say Ethereum holders better pray that whatever support levels are on that chart. I mean, when you have a flash crash in crypto, it's really fast, and that's why so many people are caught off guard, because like they can literally have like 70% of their portfolio wiped out in like 2 weeks or even a week on altcoins can literally crash 70% in 1 week. So it's really fast, and just be cautious, because we are not at the stage with Bitcoin and ETH. We're just not at stages now where we're in $300 to $400 ETH land anymore. This is it takes a long time for markets to hit unused support floor, and generally things tend to get overextended above where that floor tends to play out, and that $600 to $700 level that Karim was showing actually mirrors that. It actually maps back pretty well if you consider what Ethereum did during its first cycle during a bear market. I don't see why. I don't expect that to be any different, because it really, if there is a change in the global environment where we're in a risk-off situation, there's going to be huge dumping of Bitcoin and ETH and into cash, because then the narrative flips from risk on to cash is king. And this is also true in stocks. Like I've noticed there's a lot of assets and equities that are just bleeding out. So there's distribution taking place in equities as well. So when the annihilation happens, it's bad, and people lose like basically all their money in a very short period of time, and then generally end up selling the bottoms because they're caught in the wind of it, and the emotions can be very overwhelming while it's going on.
Yeah, and
I've got numbers too. I can talk about numbers.
Of course you can.
So
Man.
let's talk about the total number of Ethereum users versus Hex users. If we look at wallets that I believe are active, there's 150 million ETH wallets. There's 150,000 Hex wallets that stake or that hold that didn't get airdropped 10 Hex, which is why the number looks like it's 250,000. But at the end of the day, that's a 1,000 X. That means for every Hex user, there's 1,000 Ethereum users. And how many of those do we have to steal before we start to do multiple more X's in Hex before we do the next 1,000 X or more? Richard said at the Hex conference, I believe, or on the stream he did right before that the value can go higher than the amount of money put into it.
Yes.
So
Is
that's
it
very relevant.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. And one more thing that I want people to understand, literally, and Maddie, I'm still sharing my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like the conclusion I want people to understand. Again, this is the reason why myself, definitely Richard, the confidence in what he's saying. You know, one of my favorite quotes, my mom said it best. It's not bragging if it's true. We're talking with confidence because we have seen this movie before. And on Quan Gang, what we're trying to do to the best of our ability is to provide data to support what we're trying to say, what we have seen, what is most likely to happen. It's not because we want to play Nostradamus. We're saying, guys, in the balance of probability, this is what's most likely to happen. If you look at Bitcoin, and again, same thing here. I'm going to go back to this chart. It crossed. What happened? Look, even from the Kelvin chart, it fell off here, and then it broke down below the moving average, and it's going to continue to do its thing. And because we know there's a negative 21% premium right now. People are buying Bitcoin right around here, right around 33 to 34K. That's a mathematical fact. You can go to Crypto Quant and see that. Also, we have learned from past, and Richard said it, Ethereum usually has just a delay because Bitcoin get hit first, then Ethereum, you know, weeks later, right? If you look at the Ethereum chart, what do you see? Same thing, okay? Keltman channel, which is really cool, tells you about the bull run. Let me show you an example. When he left here, all along, every time you go back to the channel, you see, it's always never crossed the half mark. Always is supported. It goes up, cool off, take a rest. And again, this is a weekly chart. Can't make this shit up. Here, temporarily, then bounce back up. And what happened here? Fully broke it down. Like, when I say fully broke it down, I'm not talking about here where he barely touched and came back. Like, it went to touch the other one. And Bitcoin has already crossed his and went below the moving average, which tells you Ethereum is next, like it has been happening. It's literally just a matter of time because as Bitcoin gets spanked, Ethereum has to follow. You see the same crossover here. So we want you to be aware of that. So if anything, even if you tell me, Karim, I don't like Hex, that's fine. Protect your Ethereum value while you still can, because you might be surprised. You might wake up one day, you can't log up to your exchange, you don't know what's going on, and then bang, bang, bang. And then you combine that with all the other stuff, dollar strengthening, U.S. Treasury yield going very, very high, which is unheard of, making literally almost all-time high. Can't make this shit up. The moment this thing crossed, it's a fucking wrap. This could be like a massive, you know, inverse head or shoulder or whatever it might be. But look at this thing. Look at this thing. And it crossed bullish over here. There's too much indication. Plus, you know, Omicron, whatever, all the other drama. Like, don't wait until the last minute. That's the difference between smart and wise. Understand what's happening. Protect yourself. Protect your capital so that you don't end up being washed out, because that's what's going to happen. And then God forbid you see the light later with Hex and Pulse Chain. Guess what? You got no more money because you blew it all. So let me stop sharing here. That's why I really want you guys, those who are new Hexican, you know what time it is. But for the new people, because I think, Maddie, is it an all-time high? We got over 500 people here. So
yeah, Karim, what's important, buddy, is this, and this is more to the new folks. First of all, welcome to Quant Gang. Welcome to the Hex community. You have phenomenal people here that know what they're talking about. You have Karim sharing the charts, showing you proof, not just making up words, showing you proof what's really happening. You have Wave 3 actually dissecting what he's saying and warning you about what's the potential of what's first to go, the ERC20 tokens, etc. Right, guys? You don't see influencers doing this. You don't see this on YouTube and Twitter. They're telling you to buy more. They're telling you to sell everything. They're telling you to do all this. We don't do that here, right? We show you what's really happening live. And
is
with
this
data,
real? Did some
so this
885 million sacrifice?
No way.
I think it's
cumulative,
Maddie. I think he's
okay. I'm about to like freaking jump out my seat. Like,
yeah. Because we have crossed the billion.
That's gonna happen though, right?
Almost.
When do you guys think the origin address is gonna sack?
Oh, towards the last day, like last time. Like when is the day where the bonus multiplier ends? For the bonus for the people playing the 2.5x multiplier stuff. When is the last day of that?
Hold on.
Because just like last time, because that way it doesn't mess up with that calculator, so people can still play that game. And then when he comes in, it's game over because he has multiple wallets. So Maddie, because if he goes in now, it's gonna be like top 50 wallets. So everybody's gonna get no bonus. So I'm thinking after the bonus.
I'll wait towards the end, like towards the end, like
because when the bonus phase ends, Manny, there's always 2-3 days usually. I mean, I could be wrong, but last time that's what happened. So it
So he
doesn't
said it
affect.
does a 10x by the end of the bonding curve.
Yeah. Whenever the end of the bonus 2.5x is, because last time it ended and then there was like 2 days of flat rate, and that's when it came in. So whatever the end is of the bonus, there should be another day or two, and then that's probably when it comes in to give fair fight.
I want to say like another week and a half, like in between a week to 2 weeks from now, probably.
Yeah,
because the OA doesn't want to get diluted too much, and it's probably got a set amount that
Maddie.
it's planning to sacrifice.
Like if we play the game on the big pockets, whoever comes in is not gonna win.
But it's just like you want the whales to get in first before the OA gets in.
Yeah.
But how many whales are going to be surprised? And if you look, if you're a whale, by the way, if you're a whale and you look, the whales that got surprised last time by the OA coming in with 14 billion at the end and them getting diluted, go look at their wallets and look at how many of them sacrificed for Pulse X. They did. They sacrificed the same amount. They wanted to maintain their position in the system. They still believe. So even with a surprise like that, that they're getting diluted, they understand that that dilution is something that is there to protect the system.
Yeah.
And they want more of it.
Hey, Maddie, I'm not sure if you want to jump on that segment where, remember earlier we were talking about folks that are pretty scared to actually sacrifice now, thinking that it's too late for them, if it still makes sense for them to sacrifice for Pulse X. I'm not sure if you want to speak about that.
Yeah, it's taking 9,000 points right now.
Some people, they think, I missed that one, that $1 to 10 point ratio.
Listen,
it's over,
Here's how I explained it to my onboards today, because to be frank and honest, like I was too busy with the Hex conference to worry about helping everybody I can think of in my life that I would like for them to get rich and to retire. Like there's no way to help everybody, but but that doesn't mean you shouldn't help anybody. It means like you should start with people who you can work with, right? If you've onboarded people, then that's a good candidate because they might already have MetaMask or Staker app. They might be able to get some money in quicker.
Oh,
for
guys,
me, I'm doing a push right now.
Hey.
I'm still sacrificing along with my onboards. So if my onboard is putting in, $1,000 or $3,000 or something, that's what I'm doing each of these days where I'm trying to get caught up to everybody else. And the way that I justify it is we've seen Hex go up 20% in a day. So these first 3 or 4 days where the price goes up 20% or 10% or 15%, like that's where we're at in the bonding curve. I'm still comfortable with that because that's the normal volatility of crypto. Exactly. And when the coin does a 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000x or more, right, then it's still going to be worth it to have gotten in and get 20% less. Now, if it's going to take you a week for Coinbase to stop holding on to your funds, then go to a Bitcoin ATM, you put in 500, and you can put it directly to your MetaMask. And that way you've got an option to go in now.
And also buying on dips, why it's so important. Look at yesterday and the day prior, why it was so good, right? At some point, there was temporarily dips, 22 cents, 21 cents and change quickly being bought. If you're smart, place some limit order there, because guess what? From that point to today, there was a nice swing of like 8%, something like that, 5 to 8%, which if you're smart enough to catch that, you canceled yesterday's 5% increase by just catching those dips. This is the reason why the price is just steady, even though you see Bitcoin, Ethereum crashing, whatever. We're just chilling. We're not going back to like 17 cents or whatever, because there's people out there sniping the price up the same way what that whale did 4 days ago. Came in 30 mil, pushed the price up, sacrificed 39 million. So he got an extra $9 million worth. So there's many ways, the way the system is, the way the liquidity in the Hex term is, that if you come with a sufficient enough size, you can create a nice little pump for an hour and then sacrifice, and you get that TWAP. So it's just, you can't lose. You just got to, know how the system works. And
the other thing to point out is that as more Hex gets sacrificed that is in the user controlled liquid pool, right? Not just on-chain liquidity, but people who don't have their Hex time locked. that's going to create greater volatility. So the price, before it moves up its next 10x or next double, right? It's going to go up and down more often. It's going to have crashes down 10, 20% because of the higher volatility, but then it will be able to explode to the upside because the selling pressure is finally gone. So the people who haven't sacrificed their liquid hex and who haven't staked it, that's a minority of people who have ever come across hex. And if they don't start to wise up and see the value in time locking or see the value in sacrificing now, they can only do one of two things. Like they could sell or they could hold, and selling is going to eventually run out in the short term, we would suspect. And in the long term, people who buy and hold will do better.
Yeah. And then speaking of which, if you look at the hex chart, I think that was the one, I apologize. That's the one chart I didn't get to show. I just want to briefly.
Shame on you.
Yeah, I know, right? It's funny. It's like it does so many amazing things that I just sometimes just, let it do its thing. I'm all about the payout. So
that's right.
Let's
what do you guys think, though, while we're on this topic?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about recommending that people can still sacrifice for?
Absolutely, buddy. It's literally to that tune why I want to show the chart, because
it's a no-brainer.
Perfect zone ready to go. So not only you can catch those dips, but also you can come up with a swing, because we're not going to keep stop onboarding. Richard is still averaging, fun fact, over 1,000 plus subscriber a day. I mean, that's insane between two platforms. So all those new people finding about Hex, boom, they're getting that. And as the rest of the market is starting to, people waking up like, oh my God, we are in a bear market. Oh my God, everything that he's been saying is true. Now they're going to realize, hey, I need to protect my capital now in the crypto space before the shenanigans really starts. So when you combine all those things, you want to understand that the low liquidity in hex term can create tremendous and kind of like a trampoline effect. And that's what I wanted to show people, why I think the price not only is not going to go down a lot, because even the whales don't want it to go down too low, because somebody with a good amount of money can come in, pump it right back up and catch that whatever 10-15% move is, and then sacrifice that and then pass them. So they may not pump your bag crazy high, but they're not going to let the price go too low, because it's easy to pump the price back up after a dip, right? Like you saw the last day or so when Ethereum started to shit the bed 5%, which, by the way, people still don't understand. That's an amazing feat. When the big dog go down 5% and then you kind of steady, that's amazing. Other shitcoin went down 10-15%. Like, gone. So
I just want to also emphasize, like, from the start of Quant Gang, we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary. From the start of Quant Gang,
nice.
Hex is up 32x today, 32x on year over year.
Even with this dip,
Bitcoin, even with this dip, Bitcoin 0. It's not up, it's not down, it's the same. And that's without staking either.
Oh yeah, you can add a couple of X's for that. 40% APY.
Yeah, but you're getting 12% if you're doing a 1-year stake, I think. So, yeah.
Well, to me, because it's stake 15 years, it really averaged 40%. I don't care if I can touch it or not. The coins are there, so they did 40%. So in percentage of portfolio going up, you can throw another X in there or two.
Yeah. So people have sacrificed the next couple of days, even to like next week. I think it's fine, the rate, right? Because it's like it's like folks crying about the AA, like, oh my God, I get this much, and you look back, you're like I don't care, like you won, you're
that
gonna
happens.
get.
People
right?
cried about the AA.
I remember.
and again, Marco, the framing is wrong. This is the problem, right? The framing is wrong. Quick math, because forget the ratio for a second. If you came with X amount of money and you're able to buy either on the dip or as the price is going higher, and then you're getting X plus 10%, it's 10% you fucking didn't have before, period, that you're going to be able to sacrifice for and get right now about 9,000 points extra for that 10%. If it pumps even higher than that, which it could do, because we're at that quick sweet spot between the, near the 0.5 and on the way back to the 0.618, the Fibonacci, it's just like we're literally cooling off, ready to go. So, but I'll wait for Matty to let me know when I can share the chart.
And I was talking to one of my coworkers about this.
Exactly. The framing is wrong, because at the end of the day, if you get in and the price goes up and then you sack, you're winning. because it's more value than you even had to sacrifice to begin with.
The AA stands for the adoption amplifier, and that was the launch mechanism to initially invest in Hex. In the first year of the project, it was basically putting into a pool each day and then getting out your share of how much Hex was allocated to be launched that day. So it was all the records are still on go.hex.com.
It's actually cool to go back and look at it. You know, it's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's history.
Make
It's
sure
like
you
this
didn't
movie history.
make sure you didn't forget to mint your Hex out of there.
Nice.
Seriously. I did after it was ended. Like I went back and I found one. It was only a couple days later.
That's why Richard say he's gonna keep it on. When people say, "Oh, take it off," no, because again, you know, the people. Oh my God, somebody stole my coins. Like, you know, I mean, even though you're supposed to be the one ended, but you didn't. So it's like funny. That's why he stayed there. It's hilarious.
It wasn't exactly like a sacrifice phase though, because you got the coins at the end of the 24-hour period.
Yeah.
And then you could get wrecked trading them for one Satoshi.
This is kind of funny. But yeah, but Maddie, if I may, so just pull out this chart here real quick.
Let's
to
see
show people how, like,
oh man,
even and I want to ask Wave 3,
but I want to hear from Wave 3 as well. Like, what's your view on the SAC and rationale?
Yeah. So I still think it's a good deal. I mean, there may be just certain circumstances where you're not able to get the coins, or, you know, if you have there's a time delta there to onboard through Coinbase, or perhaps through another platform like Genmi or other. You know, at the end of the day, the relative percentages, as long as you sacrifice, and then if you just hold on to the coins for a very long period of time, I mean, the delta just doesn't. The upside is so crazy, basically, that, you know, thinking of trying to perfect your entry or something like that, you know, I think every person has to, you know, there's gonna be different circumstances, and I would not let those deterrents prevent you from an opportunity. So to me, it's a good deal. We are still within the sacrifice phase, and if you just hold on to the coins for, you know, perhaps you just hold on to them for 2 years, which is a great strategy. Just hold on to them. You can honestly just do nothing. Let the speculators come into the network. There's going to be fee burning. So, you know, these opportunities do not come, like, there may not be an opportunity like this ever again. That's the way I look at it. So it goes back to, you know, do you take advantage of the opportunity that's in front of you? And this is still an opportunity. So just get your sacrifice in, and that way you'll be ready when Pulse Chain launches.
Oh yeah.
Bang bang. Well said.
Karim, you have your chart pulled up. Let's add it to the screen here.
Let me know. Let me know when you can see it.
It's not coming up.
Oh. Well, it says sharing right now.
Like buffering, and then
there we go.
There we go. Okay, perfect. So a couple of things here, which is cool. Those are the Fibonacci. I wanted to kind of show previously based on previous sacrifice, which was right around here. This is what I believe the fractal is playing right now. We had this kind of pump, then this, and then we exited out of there, right? So if you look over here, sacrifice, we're really to it. We kind of started here. We have that nice little cool correction, and you can see from the channel, we went back up, and then now this is the exciting time because we're right around that 200, but the cool thing is on the daily chart, this is not acting like support, and it's about to cross, and that's a bullish cross. And when that happens, we can easily launch because we're in that perfect sweet spot equilibrium between the 0.5 area and the 0.618, which each of those kind of segment is an easy 20% pump. So we came from the depth of this, like it's almost picture perfect, like it literally kissed it. Like it's almost like you can't make this shit up. It's almost like the whales are playing games almost. So we went here, ran up 3 zone, which is a big deal, cool off a little bit, higher low, and then we're just continuing. So people buying now, the cool thing is like we in that continuation. I see a bullish cross happening very, very soon. And then from there, it's going to exit this zone and then just run. The reason why that's important is because it's the same thing we had here. Massive pump, cool off a little bit, stay here. And then long time ago, but I deleted it, but I used to have a trend line here. The moment we crossed that trend line up into the race, because sacrifice ended right around here, and then we went up to make new all-time high, and then we just did our own thing. And let me remind everybody what Wolf3 said earlier. What we said earlier, there's 33% less liquid hex than before. Now we have 2 sacrifices that's been going on. So don't underestimate how fast we can go back to previous all-time high, because it's literally kind of like from here after this, it's just blue sky breakout from there, because we're in that cool quick zone. Because if this had failed, then I would have said, okay, maybe I'm going to be worried. We might go down to visit those lows again. But because he bounced perfectly, this is when the guy came in with the $30 million to create that amazing candle. Then the move got eaten. But again, we're still making higher lows. This is what I mean by people sniping those lows. This is how you get a better value sacrifice. Watch this. From here, roughly to here. See, 5%. Anybody
Surely you're not advising people to trade in order to have more to sacrifice.
Hell no. I just do this for I'm stake. So the cool thing about this, I want to tell people like it's about to run again, because I see the same pattern that we had before here. I believe we're in this zone, ready to go. Don't get left behind. This thing is switching. And on the 4-hour, which is good to watch, this is a common known pattern that obviously Wave3 knows. You get to see, I think, that's just my eyes, I think this is kind of like a reverse head and shoulder that's forming right now. It's trading on the trading chat. So we're literally at this, that, and this. And then when this goes, it's a wrap. So make sure if you're new to Hex, or if you haven't got your bag, it's a perfect buying opportunity, because the moment this thing curve back up and then we get the bullish cross, it's a wrap from there. And then my favorite, the only thing that I actually pay attention to on the weekly chart, which is really awesome. Look how beautiful this thing is. I mean, literally. And it's like what we had here, we did the thing. This kind of doji came in, but green, and then off to the races. We did this over here.
It's exciting, man. Crazy, man.
Yeah, it's about to do the same. And DMI never lie, which is my favorite. Look at this. Can't make this shit up.
I share that with friends.
In the history of Hex, this is my favorite stat. In the history of Hex, 2-year plus, every new people watching right now, there was never an instance on the weekly chart. There was never an instance where there was less buyer than seller in Hex. Let me say that again. This is fucking insane. This is the ultimate diamond hand, quick math, take it to the bank, clip this, send it to the haters. I dare anybody, any chart, Bitcoin, Ethereum, doesn't matter. There's never in the history of Hex, and I tweeted about this, in the history of Hex, there was never an instance where seller outweigh buyer on the weekly chart. It's insane.
Hey, Karim, can you change the colors of the candles, the lines? Because I think on my screen it looks pretty dark, the blue and the red.
It's too thin. Yeah, the lines are too thin.
Make it thicker and then brighter colors.
Hold on, let me see.
Yeah. It's cleared up now, but still dark the colors.
Those are the original colors. So that's why, because I gotta keep it like that to know what's with it. Hold on, let me put in green.
But,
What about this? What about this? Can
but make it thicker. You know how you can make it thicker?
Oh no. Listen, I'm not a trader. I don't. Dead ass. You see? Super. No, I don't know how to do that. I just
okay. Well, next time we can have it.
But what about this? Is it green? Can you see green, Maddie? How about green?
I took it off the screen because we have over 500 people watching. We're not going to test it here now, but we did learn a lot from you explaining it verbally and the charts you showed before. So thank you.
Yeah, if they put it in the indicator, they'll see it. But the point is this. This is the message. In the history of Hex, on the weekly chart, there's never been an instance where seller outweigh buyer ever on the weekly chart, ever. It's insane. And right now it's bouncing beautifully, ready to go for another. So I can see the same fractal pattern. And from here, it's going to be a massive candle when everything else is.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that there are more people buying Hex than selling it?
Because money go where it's the best treated, and recognizing slowly but surely that Hex is the superior asset. And because they're recognizing that over and over and over again, the money is flowing where it's the best treated. There's a reason why when you go on Etherscan and when you check all the contracts that, right, the top, what is it? Is it top 100 or top 1,000 wallets, right? 60-some% holder of Hex. Like, there's no debate. Like, we know what time it is. And in a bear market, or if you're in the saving from traditional investing, when everything goes to shit, you go where the yield are. which is where the fixed products are. And then we're the best in the crypto space. We're literally like the DXY, the dollar index, you know, the bond market of the future in the crypto space. So that's why
I would say you're too kind, but I would say you're just accurate.
You're very welcome. So, and that's why I can't put my money anywhere else, especially for long term. It's a no-brainer. It really is. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the week we touch 30 cents. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Don't try to time the market. Get your T-shares in. Do your sacrifice. If you catch a nice, 5% pump, great. But don't try to time the market, because guess what? The 30 cents can happen on Thursday, or maybe it could happen on Sunday, right? The point is, don't try to time it, because the 5% compounding over time is a guarantee hit every day. Yeah, don't do that. Please don't trade. Just understand where the trend is going so that you can position yourself. Like we always say, the hex first, the T-shares, right? Set up your money printers, then do your sacrifice. I'm talking to somebody that's brand new, that doesn't own any hex. That's still the premium asset. Get that first, because you're going to get your copy. Then sacrifice for Pulse X. Thank you.
It's true.
And the cool thing about sacrifice for Pulse X is that literally you can use that also to convert some of it to Pulse Chain if you haven't done Pulse Chain yet. So,
the system just balances itself so well. And I know we have another 15 minutes here to talk more. I want to hear more from our guests, Marco and Wave 3,
bang, bang.
regulars on the show, quants in their own right, streamers in their own right. What else can you tell us?
Sure. Yeah. I guess, Marco, do you want to go first? Or?
No, go ahead, buddy. I talked
Cool.
all night, so go ahead.
Yeah,
I like hearing your input.
We could pull up a price chart here and just show you what I'm personally looking at. So the macro tends for Hex to USD. I guess I'll first make sure if you guys can see the price chart here.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. So the macro trend is very bullish. So to me, if I was just to do a relative comparison, it just looks like the moving averages the price is resting on looks pretty similar to where Hex was prior to the start of its next bull market. And you saw how long this run lasted. I mean, if you consider this channel and, while the channel is still valid to me, I just look at, it's following this channel until that changes. This is still a very valid technical setup as far as like trying to project into the future. And I mean, the price targets, when you start to consider like somewhere down the channel, it gets to absolutely incredible valuations that you see. So to me, it's like, if you look at how much, let's just say 1 million hex as an example, that at an earlier point of time used to cost $25,000. Now it costs about $250,000. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that went from $250,000 to $2.5 million sometime during 2022. I mean, these are all extremely valid targets, and there's a huge supply sink. I mean, the information's there. It's in front of you. There's a shit ton of supply that's sacrificed, and that's a huge fundamental for price run-ups. On top of already, there's some really interesting charts that show like the deflationary aspect of the supply just naturally reducing over time, and then there's this added supply sink on top of it. So this trend is extremely bullish. And another price run up, I mean, multi-dollar targets it's not crazy, guys. Like, it's really not that crazy considering it. So to me, 25 cents is kind of like, I just think of it as like basically buying, around 2 cents or a penny or something like that. The baseline keeps shifting up. So, I personally, I'm still sticking to multi-dollar hex during 2022, and the launch going into Pulse Chain is an excellent catalyst for that. So, I mean, there's obviously like you never get, this is basically as close as you're going to get to having all the information in front of you suggesting this is an excellent opportunity to buy. You don't get this often. Do take advantage of it if you have not purchased any Hex yet. It is very likely going to have a very incredible run again in 2022. And I mean, it's already happened, 2 years in a row. Just the trifecta at this rate, and the rest of the market, the trend just keeps going higher. Like if we pull up Hex to USD to, let's say, Bitcoin to USD, this is a very strong uptrend. Like this is very likely going to push to new highs again at some point during its next bull cycle. And this valuation can go much higher than you expect. I mean, we're still at the very early stages from my view, and the current support levels, like if you were even to compare here, versus like even back here, there's just a lot of momentum right now. There's a lot of momentum to the upside. There's a huge advantage, like just off of Bitcoin dumping, the Hex USD, the Hex to Bitcoin ratio is likely then to increase because Hex isn't getting dragged down to oblivion like the rest of the market. Like actually, here's another really good chart. If we pull up, this is the one I was talking about earlier. If you take total 3, this is the altcoin index, and then you divide it by Hex to USD,
you'll look like the one with ETH.
You see it. It's like altcoins are basically bleeding out to Hex. And what's really interesting is like even the downtrend is respecting. It's actually respecting just downtrend lines. Like if you actually measure all the way to the top of the candle to the price wicks here, you can see the chart is just respecting it. So to me, it's like this doing another wave down, which would imply basically Hex going up in value, or the rest of the market just getting annihilated, where Hex is just resting still before going into its next leg. I mean, to me, it's like if you're still holding on to ERCs at this, like ERC20s, I would highly suggest like just getting rid of those and just buy the better performing asset. On Ethereum, you're going to have the copy rolling into Pulse Chain. I saw comments in the chat regarding every token is going to get a copy, but Hex is clearly the one you want to buy because that's obviously going to be the one that retains like all the value going into Pulse Chain. So to me, it's like very obvious. Like of all the coins you can hold on Ethereum going into the snapshot, so you get the copy on Pulse Chain, Hex is the obvious one. Like, and there's a huge supply sink, and the macro trends, like there's not another ERC coin that's going to outpace like Hex. It's just not going to happen. There's already too much resistance in the charts, and the communities are basically the communities are also bleeding out in ERC land compared to the Hex community, which just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's even at the stage now where there's two huge, I mean, it's all one cohesive group between Hex and Pulse, but the communities are going to get to a scale that it's just going to become so large that it's going to become nearly impossible to keep up with the amount of people that are onboarding into this really amazing community. So and I came into this market from like a place of like skepticism. Like I generally stick to Bitcoin, ETH, or whatever, and I generally have like a lot of skepticism. But at this point, like the data is there. It's a very strong uptrend, and I do believe like Hex will be the benchmark that we actually should be measuring coin performance relative to, because to me it's like if you have a superior asset that's outpacing everything else, and then if the other assets you're holding are not keeping up, or at least to some respectable pace, you're basically taking on more risk by holding these other coins versus just holding the one that's outpacing, that naturally just has lower levels of risk. Like even to the liquidity pools, right? Like if the whole market goes into, let's say there's a trapdoor, everything gets annihilated, that is a realistic risk when you consider ERC coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum. It all gets dragged down. That is a huge downside risk that exists for the rest of the market that does not exist on Hex, because it has its own liquidity pool. Now, there's obviously going to be a lot of volatility on the Hex price chart whenever you have these run-ups, but if you just look at it from the perspective of the overall growth of the asset, to me, it's like if you're still holding other coins on Ethereum, I'm just going to be quite honest, like it's a waste of time. Like, and I came into this market from from a very neutral standpoint, and I just look at it for what it is. Like it's just a better performing asset, better community, better branding for everything. So it's just you have in my opinion, you basically have and I would not like, you know, sit on your hands on this. I do think this is an area where it's really good to be loading up on your stack. Like there is going to come a point in time where 1 million hex at some point is going to cost $2.5 million. It costs $250,000 today, but it's really not that far in the future where it's going to cost multi-million-dollar bags to buy 1 million hex. So if you're still, I mean, just I guess to sort of summarize here, you have downtrend on any other asset you're holding on Ethereum. So at this point, it's very clear. Like I would seriously just put that into Hex, and then you just have very good metrics across the board. Everything is reset to even from like the downside risk perspective. There was already a very nice reset to sort of build back a new base. And you know, we see these dips all the time along the way. I mean, after you have big run-ups, there's going to be retracements along the way. So just stake out your coins. Like if you're really worried about it, just buy the coins today, you know, stake it out for 6, 12 months, 18 months, whatever, but just give yourself a good margin there so that you do have coins when these big moves occur. Because now, like going into Pulse Chain, you're also going to have the opportunity to set up a much more aesthetically pleasing ladder that you can't do on Ethereum due to the gas fees. So you're going to have more creative freedom. And I just consider quarter is now like, it's basically the new 2 cents for Hex. And then at some point it's just going to be really fast when it goes to $1. And then it's going to, you see it like this, the squids are now extreme. That's an extremely difficult bracket to get into. And that's going to happen with turtles. Yeah, it's gonna happen with the turtles next, because you have to consider like that's a lot of T-shares turtles hold. I mean, holding, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. If you think about where the price of those T-shares is going, and a single T-share at some point costing the same price that Bitcoin is today at $40,000. I mean, it's really not that far out considering. So it's just going to keep getting more and more expensive. So generally, the longer you wait, like you miss out on these huge opportunities, and then the amount of coins you're going to own in the future as a result of that significantly diminishes. So this is just how, you know, crypto works. So do take advantage while the opportunity is there.
Absolutely. I think what I like the most about your chart that you said earlier, just real quick, is if you put it in simple words, Hexicans are becoming wealthy over time, while the rest, sadly, who are being played, and then the facade is going away, and then you're just left with the dust. And that's why we're working so hard. You know, shout out to all you three being here, literally, because we genuinely don't have to do this. But because most people don't realize we've been there. 2017, that was my learning lesson. I went through the whole roller coaster, and we're just trying to share people. Listen, we've seen that movie. We know how it ends. Get the thing that's going to be here for you, not just next bull run, but the next bull run, and then showing you mathematically in the chart why you will be winning if you join our team, so to speak. But also take the data, look it for yourself. Math don't lie. You don't need to like me. Just go run it yourself, and you'll see what he has done. Marco, go ahead.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, just remind me to go before wave 3, but he just killed it, so there's not much to say. Thank you, wave 3. All right. Listen, what these two gentlemen said this whole time is phenomenal, right? They speak facts. They're showing charts. They're not making things up, right? What I would say, guys, is this: for those who are new to this, welcome. You're not late to Hex. You're not late to sacrifice, right? I don't recommend sacrificing a Pulse chain, so just beware of that, guys. This is what the community is about. This is what Maddie does every single day or every other day, basically, nowadays, right? You know, if you have questions, we are here to help you. It's not financial advice, but it's the best advice we could give you, right? Check out Twitter, check out YouTube. There's plenty of Hexicans out there, Pulsicans, sharing beautiful knowledge. Follow Richard Hart on Telegram. Follow him on Twitter. Follow him on Instagram. Follow everybody here. They will probably tell you where they're coming from. So I just want to say, guys, it's been a pleasure. I love doing this. This is remarkable. Thank you for allowing me to be front row seats to watch this. Anytime you guys need me on, I'm always going to be here. I'm excited, man. And this is just the beginning, guys. Listen, every single guy here, most people in the chats, we're going to be here 15 years plus. So get used to us, because we're not going nowhere. I know I'm not. So that's what I gotta say. Man.
Awesome.
And buy your damn tickets, man. Buy me a beer in person, man. Stop being cheap. Let's go, man.
Marco is cooler in person. I can tell you that.
Hell yeah, man. I love my people, bro. I love my people, man.
Oh, Maddie, let's put all the info in the chat so people can find them on Twitter and the stream. So Marco, put you so that the new people can follow you.
They're already in the show notes.
Oh, perfect.
Awesome.
Yep.
The links, so you guys can follow Marco and Wave 3 and Karim and I by going to the show notes. The show notes are new and improved, but still include our social media info, so you can follow us, subscribe across the different channels, follow Richard Hart on all of his different channels, and shout out to everybody here in the comments. It's been overwhelmingly positive. Shout out to Hexologist and Nagabo and everybody else who commented here in the last minutes of our show. So thanks everybody for being here. We are Quant Gang / Bonnet Gang now.
Yes. We
will be here every Tuesday night until Karim is a billionaire.
Hopefully soon, right? But hey, next week is the year anniversary, right, Maddie? Is it next week?
I think we're ahead of ourselves, because I think it was February 2nd, and I think we've done 51 episodes, but there were probably a couple weeks where we did 2. Okay. So
because it was right around my birthday. I remember that too. So I don't know. Yeah, my birthday is February 3rd. So hopefully, fireworks by then.
Because it rolled over and then Wales fell asleep. So it was your birthday. Yeah.
Shout out to Wells. Hey, subscribe to Wells too.
I love Wells, man. That's my guy right there. My guy from the BX, Wells. I love you always, man. I'll buy you some pizza, bro.
There you go. But yeah, every week we're here soon. Manny's gonna have a sexy thumbnail. Let you guys know when the 1 year anniversary. Just be tuned for that.
Oh yeah.
And one last thing before we go, please find it in your heart. Share the message with somebody else. It's never too late. I genuinely mean everything I said. There's blood coming. There's blood coming. We need to save as many people as we can. Even if they told you 9 times no, try one more time. You'll feel good about it if the 10th time they listen. And then when this thing goes down 50%, and then you have something to do with it where you could help them save some of that wealth. I don't care if they bought health, but at least they're aware about the message that's been shared here today. Then, you know what I mean? It feels good, man, helping your fellow men. So I know sometimes people get on that nerve, but just finding it in yourself to just reach out. Be like, hey, let me present this to you again. That's my only ask.
Yeah, don't give up.
With that being said, stake and sack wisely, my friends. Peace out.
And this is from Maddie ALLin of Hex Therapy Live. After Richard's done with stream, I hope it's still hours away, the new Hex Quant and I will go live to show off a new chart for Hex USD price appreciation with staked interest factored in.
We're still live. We're still live. Everybody smile for the thumbnail on Twitter.